Good evening. We just want to welcome everyone to our city council meeting. Want to welcome the council members to our city council meeting as well. Everybody's welcome. Hope to have a good meeting tonight. Take care of some good and I would ask the council to please, when you're ready to speak, ask you to punch your button and get your green light on. And then when you're not speaking, I would ask you to probably turn your button off, because if you watched the last council meeting, I think that you might have been getting on some sidebar conversations that maybe is not good for anyone, really not speaking to the council as a whole. So be careful. Try to get up close to your microphones, because I think that's what's coming on our YouTube channel as voices. Please do that for us if you want to be heard by the general public. As I said, tonight's third. We have a nice agenda for this. I don't think it'll be too awfully long unless we get in some things that are unforeseeable. But once again, appreciate everyone coming. Who have phones, please try to silence them if you would, so they won't go off. Use them. Just step out and your cell phone. Will be live right now on YouTube, so please for anything you may want to say. But what we'd like to do time, as always, certainly want to remember those who have bad situation hit them a week or so ago with the terrible plane crash on the Potomac River. It was such a tragedy for our nation and those families, and just an unbelievable situation. Zach Wilt, who's with us tonight, he's on the agenda. He might talk about some issues that you don't have to talk yet, Zach, but I think probably Oldham County has a lot of incoming flights coming to Louisville, come right across this county just all the time. They don't realize it's happening, but you just never know what's going to happen and deal with it then. But for those who lost their lives there, we want to certainly remember them. And then there was another plane crash shortly thereafter, Philadelphia. There was another plane crash today, or not? We haven't heard about that, so maybe that was just a rumor spread. But we remember those folks who perished in that terrible situation. So if you would you please stand with us as we say our Pledge of Allegiance? Who would like to lead us? Jason Kinzer. Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, Jason. Our city clerk, Heather, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilwoman Bishop. Here.
Please speak into your, pull it down there, Latasha, if you would, for me. Thank you.
Here. Councilwoman Ricketts.
You're on. No, no, you're not on either. Okay.
Here. Kinzer.
Here.
Councilman Taylor.
Here.
Councilman Davenport.
Here.
Councilman Powell.
Here.
Councilman Kamer.
Here.
And Councilwoman Taylor.
Here.
Okay. We have all council members present, and this time I'll call the meeting to order. Entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda that the council members have received on Friday of last week. I'll entertain a motion for the approved as presented.
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
The motion been made by Laura Taylor, second by Kenny Powell. Any discussion on the motion? Not. All in favor of the motion, let me know. I'm saying aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. You have in your packet your January the minutes from our special called meeting. Since it was on a different night than our regular meeting, we call it a special meeting. So I'll give the council a few moments to look over those minutes and see perhaps if you have additions or corrections you'd like to mention. If not, I'll wait for a motion for the minutes to be passed. And review your minutes if you would, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion, thank you, Laura. Motion been made by Laura Taylor, with a second by Lucy Ricketts. We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, tonight we have once again our city administration, 3 different categories of our financial report, and we will begin by discussing the payables. So you have the payables before you. So Bono, our finance director on staff, is sick. She has a severe case of the flu, supposedly. Not at work today. So Heather and myself, what questions you have about the actual payables?
Under, we get our internet service through is AT&T.
Yes. and
Okay.
that- We just added service over to 309.
Okay, and so I've had a resident reach out to me and he was concerned about the quality. We're going to look into getting higher speed service. I wondered if that's a possibility and cost might be to the city
I think Stephen's been looking into that.
You talking about higher speed here or where?
here.
Oh, okay.
So that our upload speeds to YouTube are faster, and it will hopefully eliminate some of the chopping to YouTube.
Yes, that was discussed between Heather and Stephen since last meeting.
He's looking into it. and
He
I
is
know
looking into it?
There's a possibility it has something to do with the mic's interference as well, too.
Oh, okay,
So we're looking into that, too.
okay.
I have the head man of AT&T Kentucky in my phone, so I will call him in the morning and see if he can get our speed increased, okay? You know, if he has to come out there and do it himself. But he's a good fella, runs AT&T Kentucky, and he helps me out anytime I call him, okay? But thank you, Laura. Any other questions about the payables? From
Mayor,
you?
I have a question. Previous council meeting, we had looked at the cost of the fare box for the bus, for the city bus. It's a $3,400 expense, and we didn't have personnel here to answer that question, so I didn't know if we'd gotten anywhere or where we were on figuring out what that
Okay. Well,
seemingly pretty high expense was for a fare
tell you
box.
what, Katie Bechtold, I've had her come tonight to speak to the council in overall operations of the bus and anything she handles here at City Hall, so she's here tonight. For that specific question, I'd just like for you to come forward, Katie, and answer that question, and then we'll get to your overall report in a moment, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Jason. So,
Thanks, Katie.
Hello.
Hi.
Everybody hear me? Okay. So I'm sorry that I missed the last meeting. I believe I was ill, so I do apologize for that. So let me kind of explain how our funding goes for the bus. It's a little bit different than what the city acquires. We are a subrecipient currently of TARC. We have been since I've been here for the last 7 years. That is going to be changing come July 1 of this year. We are going to be released under the umbrella of TARC, and we are now going to be moved to the State Department, which is a whole new gamut of funding that I've got to apply for the grants for, that the grant pool just opened up. But in regards to the fare box here, we are awarded 2 allotments of money every fiscal year. One allotment is for operations, it's called 5307 grant money, and then we have another allotment for capital expenses. And just to kind of sum up what a capital expense is, it's anything that would kind of last more than a year. They consider a capital expense, so we get funding for that. When we get our operations money, roughly TARC usually would allot us about 35 to 37,000 a year, and that would cover 50% of our operation expenses. Operations could be salaries, fuel, not maintenance and that, but insurance, retirement. So if a monthly bill costs $10,000 for operations, $5,000 could be taken out of the operations money, and the other $5,000 would come from city funding, whether it was through what the city contributes, what the county contributes, fare box contributions. But capital money, it's an 80-20 split. So 80% comes out of the capital funding from the state, and 20% is responsible of the city or the bus fund. When you get capital grant money, it is good for 4 years. So if I do not use all the money, I can carry it over year to year to year. But at the 4-year mark, if I do not spend that capital money, it goes back to the state, and it goes back in their pool to be redistributed like the next year. So I will say now, I have gotten money because we don't have the need to spend a lot of capital, except the new bus was a whole different gamut, but we used a lot of our operations money, and we transferred some money to pay for that bus under a capital expense. But I still have about $2,000 to $3,000 left over from 2020. I've got, and that money is going to be lost if I did not spend it, I was told by TARC. 2021, I've got $1,800. 2022, I've got $10,000. And we were awarded $15,504 this year. I have not touched that at all. So that can still carry for a little bit, but I have to think about, can I use that money or not? So talking about the fare boxes in particular, that is considered a capital expense. They typically would last more than a year, so we can use capital funding for that. We have had the same fare boxes on our buses since I've been here and probably prior. They're very outdated. They work off a very unique key that can no longer be made. We are down to, since I've been here, we have one key that can unlock the fare boxes on the bus. We have tried to order through the company to make new ones. They don't make them anymore. So it got to a point where I was like, we were also finding that the fare boxes were getting jammed a lot on the bus, and in order to repair them, we actually had to take them to a mechanic who could open the fare box at a level that I couldn't open, and that was costing anywhere from $150 to $200 every time to just unjam these old fare boxes. These fare boxes we received from TARC recently, probably about 3 years ago, we bought them. And we bought a few extra ones because they charged us about $200 each for them. And they went to a $15,000 fare box on their bus. Their fare boxes are made by the same company that we now have, but they were $15,000 because they can run debit cards, credit cards, they're electronic. Obviously, we didn't need a $15,000 fare box on our small cutaway buses.
I certainly hope not.
And we weren't going to go to debit and credit card. That wasn't a need that has ever been approached to me by any of our riders and so forth. We do, like I said, we service a lot of lower income sometimes riders, and sometimes they struggle just to pay the 50 cents. And we have never increased our fare box for these riders. So it's either 50 cents or a dollar. So upgrading them to a fare box of that was not even an option. So I looked at the next two. There was a lower price one, $1,000 less, but it only held what our current fare box holds. And to me, the jamming and all that, I went with a higher quality. Stainless steel holds 4 times the amount of funds that ours currently do. And when we bought them, keep in mind, it's 80% is covered by the grant. So out of pocket, we're paying about $700 for that fare box. That includes the fare box and the stand and so forth. They're a very high quality. My thought on my whole process on that is we were going to lose grant money this year. So, and I didn't have really anything else that was upcoming that we could have used those funds for outside of general maintenance, but we still have. Total right now, $28,000. Now, of course, minus what we just paid for the fare boxes, but I'm not even sure when we switch over to the Department of Transportation come July 1, if we are going to be able to keep our grant money that's been awarded to us in the past. That's still up in the air right now. So my thought is I'm going to try to utilize those funds if I can. And for me, a $700 purchase for a fare box that is high quality that we can take from bus to bus if we buy new buses in the future was worth it and necessary at this time.
Okay. We were looking at it, and I was thinking, gosh, you can buy a really nice safe for $500 with
Right.
with a slot
Sure.
in it.
Sure.
So then when it got to, so was that $3,400 was for one single fare box?
Correct. Yes.
Wow, okay.
Again, 80% of that's covered by grant money that we will get. We pay the upfront cost, we will get reimbursed for that.
Okay. All right, well, that explains it a lot better. Thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome, no problem.
Thank you, Katie.
Still seems
Yeah.
like the fare box company's
It is.
making a killing,
Well,
but,
when I saw what they were paying $15,000 for one on the new TARC buses, I looked at it that way and I was like, well, to me, it still is expensive, but we do need them on the bus.
okay. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks,
I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Any other questions from any council member about the payables?
Motion to accept payables as presented.
Okay, motion has been made by
Second.
Trey Cameron, second by Joe Davenport. Is there any further discussion on Trey's motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, let's go ahead to the financial report, the 2024-25 fiscal year trial balances, and see perhaps if any council member has a question about that particular report itself. The reports are up on the TVs, right, Heather?
No, we didn't.
Huh?
Those, we're gonna do the bank list, so it's only one that was one.
Okay, the bank list will go up, okay? Anyone have a question about the trial balances and any concerns you see there or questions you may have since this is only somewhat the second time you've seen this actual document?
Mayor, when Cindy's back next council meeting, could we take a brief look at these again? Would you mind?
Excuse me?
Is that something that's possible when Cindy's back next council meeting? Is that something we could take a look at then?
Well, you can, no, I mean, you mean far as asking questions about them?
Yeah. Or is it something that needs to be done right now?
Well, you can ask questions about them right now if you choose to.
All right,
You know, no, we don't need Cindy here to do that.
okay.
Just fire away, and we'll see perhaps if you have something on any of these reports.
All right.
This one here, the one I'm referring to, is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically the beginning budget and the expenses year-to-date and what's basically remaining in the actual unencumbered balance. That's what it boils down to. And, you know, we just try to pace ourselves throughout the 12 months of the fiscal year and hopefully get to the end with some money left. So that's basically what this report is, but if you have questions, please ask. If you don't, I'll entertain a motion that this report be passed by the council.
Motion to accept the financial report as presented.
Okay, motion made by Trey Kamer,
I'll second.
second by Latasha. Latasha Booker Bishop. Yeah, Latasha Booker Bishop, okay? So she seconded it. So any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, and our third and final report of our financial is your bank account balance report. Basically, it's a simplified accounting of all the different funds, and eventually it ends up to a given total cash balance for the city. So does anyone have a question about this report?
Mayor, I do. On the funds, is this, like the LaGrange Police Drug Fund, is that where our officers have caught somebody and confiscated money, like in the middle of a drug deal or something like that? Is that where that comes from, or where does that, is that right, Chief? Okay. Okay. Okay, I just wasn't sure where that originated from. so
They haven't
thank you.
caught too many people doing drugs, so it's only got $20 in it. I mean, we got a pretty
Unless they're
drug-free,
buying it with
we got a
sticks and
pretty
branches and
drug-free
stuff.
town. It's got $20 in the balance. So good job, chief. Huh? Well, I see LaGrange Police Drug Funds, it says 20.
Okay, if it's on the budget side, that's operational money.
Is that the one you're looking at, Jason Kinzer?
Yeah, it says drug forfeiture funds, under the,
No.
under the, bank account balance.
Oh, well, the federal forfeiture fund has 34,000 in it, the forfeiture fund. I thought you one down, but it does have 34,530 in it, chief, 538. Chief.
Divided, state forfeiture and federal.
Okay.
So when the state gets a big bust, all the cities and counties get a piece of it. Is that how that works, chief?
Only time they're sharing between agencies or that are involved agencies,
Oh, okay.
share a quotient on federal cases, yes, the federal government or using federal agency, DEA, FBI, for participatory formulas put in and divided among the agencies. And now,
Chief, if, please come up here and rehash that real quick, because Jason's asking a question. The people listening need to know the answer, and they need to be
Sorry,
able to
chief,
hear
I
that.
should have got with you before.
Okay.
That's no problem.
I apologize for that. I just
The
saw.
funds have to be divided between state and federal forfeiture cases. On the federal forfeitures, yes, there's formulas involved. If there's multiple agencies that are involved, local agencies, federal agencies, there's quotients and formulas that decide that amount that's awarded to the U.S. Attorney's Office. On state forfeiture, if agencies can share among themselves, if it was a multi-agency task or investigation, or the sole agency will get it. But now prosecutors' offices are entitled to a percentage to
Okay.
help support their offices as well.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you, chief.
Wait, chief,
Sorry?
sorry, one more thing. Is that something that we have control over through ordinances, or is that decided by state statute as far as who
You
gets
would have
what?
to abide by forfeiture rules on the federal money, under
Okay.
the federal and under state. That amount is audited and you report it. And also that fund can be contributed to by, not necessarily currency, but say for instance, we're awarded real property or a vehicle. When that vehicle is seized, the proceeds from the sale of that real property has to go to the forfeiture fund. So,
Okay. All right, thank you.
no problem.
Good questions, good questions. Anyone else have any questions about the financial settlement statement for the current balance of the city?
I don't know if I understand where the $20 then comes from. If the chief is saying that there ought to be more than that in there, maybe I just didn't understand the explanation.
That accounts for like detective.
Could you answer that, chief? What Laura's asking is the one that has the $20 in it, and see what we're going to do with that?
Well, or is this something we should be asking Cindy?
Well, chief should know.
Okay.
What that $20 looks like is another budget line that's put in there. When the budget is set, those forfeited lines, it says forfeiture funds, are the forfeiture funds. When we're going to process any drug investigations or we need to transfer money to fund an investigation, it will come out of those top two forfeiture lines, transfer there. You're trying to keep those forfeited funds sterile within those budget lines because that money cannot be used anywhere else unless you're buying equipment. So that's why you're seeing it within those forfeiture boundaries, those lines. If we have the need, if we break information on a significant investigation that may require buy money, get equipment necessary to proceed that investigation, we would go to finance and ask them to transfer money from those state or federal forfeiture to that drug, what you're calling the drug fund, to fund the investigation.
And it's only equipment for a future investigation. It's not to buy, for example, bulletproof vests or.
We can do that, but
Okay.
why that specific line for drug fund is in there is so we isolate drug-related investigations and forfeiture together.
Gotcha.
We do on occasion use forfeiture money, say to get additional safety equipment for traffic or safety lights for the officer. If it's something that surfaces, a lot of times too, axons, such as our body cameras or our tasers, that product line, those companies are notorious for ending models, and we could get caught mid-budget year requiring to buy a new kind of battery, a new kind of cartridge, and we didn't budget for it. So
Okay.
if it's allowed within the forfeiture, we'll use forfeiture money to enhance our equipment.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions about any of those line items?
I
on
have
that?
one, Mayor.
Yes,
With
sir.
the municipal road aid, like we discussed in the last meeting, what are we doing as far as getting the audit caught up to where we can get those funds released from the state that they owe us when we get that audit caught up? Just so we can have those, I mean, if it's something that we need and the money's there for us, what do we need to do as far as getting our audit caught up?
Well, you've heard from Cindy for the time you've been here, and then you heard from her during the orientation session. But Cindy is working day in and day out, and certainly a lot of it is built around the software applications that Cindy feels the city needs to basically rebuild from scratch. I think I'm saying that right, Heather, because I've talked to Cindy about that. So the truth of the matter is, Kenny, is I'm hopeful where we are right now is in February. I'm hopeful by May or hopefully by May, we will be, Cindy will be preparing the financial statements, the reconciliations, and having Kevin Fisher with RFH Consultants come in here and begin that audit examination for 22-23 year end, okay? Now, so that gets that year taken care of, 22-23 year end. Now, she has to immediately begin to try to get the audit done for 24-25 year end. Are you with me?
Mhm.
So once we get the one done and Kevin gets in here and presents it to you all in hopefully June, then we'll jump into 24-25. Cindy will, but she's got to get from one year to the next before she can actually reconcile the previous year books to start the next year. So I'd say by late fall or somewhere, or maybe, November, December, I'm not sure, but maybe she could have the 24-25 audit ready to present to Kevin, and maybe by the first of the year. Now, what you're asking is, though, because of the audits are past due, then a municipal aid road is being held up by the Department of Local Government and the Finance Cabinet. But we'll get the funds when the audits are caught up. Now, what we plan on doing, Kenny, we're not going to hold up municipal road area money to the extent that we're just going to let it go to zero. We will probably, and Cindy is okay with this, and the auditors will be okay, we will transfer money out of the general fund back to this line item, fund the municipal road aid fund to about the extent that it would generate monthly, about $13,000 a month. So we will transfer, and all this will be done with our budget committee, okay, and a budget amendment.
Right.
A budget amendment. If you go over a line item, you gotta have a budget amendment,
Right.
and if you pick up new money, you gotta have a budget amendment. So those will be done by Cindy, and say Corey wanted to buy a boom truck, we could do a budget amendment and amend $125,000 of general fund money into this category, and then once the road aid comes in, we will reimburse the general fund.
Okay, that answers a lot of it, because we can pull from here to.
Yeah.
Okay.
As
To
long as
supplement that, to
long as
get
the
it back.
council agrees with that,
Right.
and that has to be done through a budget amendment.
Sure.
I just don't move the money myself.
Right.
The council, through Cindy, has to bring a budget amendment to the council.
Okay, that clears it up for me, that they're just not holding it. We have a way to move it.
Yes,
Then
yeah.
we can put it back once they give it to us.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, all good questions. Anyone else before we call for the motion?
Yeah, on the City of LaGrange tourism account, I was under the impression that the city just collected those tourism dollars from the hotels and Airbnbs and that, transferred it directly to tourism. But now I see there's we're carrying a balance in that account. What am I missing there?
That was just collected right at the end of January, so those funds
Okay.
have not been transferred yet.
Okay.
So they were deposited actually on the 31st of January.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so it will be
Correct.
transferred, all of it will be transferred over. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Any further questions? Okay.
Motion to accept the bank balance.
Motion made by
investment
Trey
report.
Kamer. Will there be a second?
Second.
Second by Jason Kinzer. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Okay, motion passes. Okay, let's move to item 7 of our agenda. Who we have here tonight is our good friend Zach Wilt. So Zach, if you want to come on up. What prompted me to bring Zach Wilt here tonight, folks, is Lucy Ricketts, when we were at the KLC conference, she said, Mayor, if a train derails in our town, are we just supposed to start running, or what are we supposed to do? And I said, I'm not sure, Lucy. She said, well, I think we ought to know. And, of course, I've talked to Chief about this, but Zach Wilt is the Director of Emergency Management for Oldham County. And how LaGrange fits into this situation, Zach, based on the question that Lucy Ricketts posed to me, you can just go ahead and elaborate on that issue and anything else that might happen within our city where we would kick some action into action.
And I just want to say the reason that came up was when I was a teacher at LaGrange Elementary, we did have an evacuation plan, and that was to head off to Walsh Park. Get away as far as possible.
Yeah, the advice to run away it's actually pretty sounded. It's pretty good advice. So first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for the invite, Chief, and everybody. To answer the question, we do have a plan for any sort of train issue. It's a countywide plan. Every city every city in the county has adopted it. It's a part of the Emergency Operation Plan, which is abbreviated as EOP. We are fortunate and unfortunate because of the amount of infrastructure with 71, with the train tracks, and then the river. A lot of scary stuff goes up and down that, let alone the facilities we do have in the county that produce chemicals or store, manufacture some sort of chemicals. With that said, there's a reason why emergency management is a thing. We are the connection between local, state, and federal. We train with all of our responders. So to answer the question about LaGrange, we have messaging ready, available for any sort of train issue. We work with LaGrange Fire, with LaGrange Police, Oldham County Police, Oldham County Sheriff, and pretty much all the other fire departments and EMS. If there is an incident, we send out messaging, we do evac, what's on the train, we contact CSX. So we do have a plan in place for it. My number one priority is to communicate with everybody, with Mayor Black, the police chief, to get their people notified, and then work on a game plan to mitigate the issue, to send out messaging, keep people as safe as we can, figure out what's on the train, because like I said, it's not very friendly what's on these trains that come up and down the tracks. That's the initial first response is messaging. Once we figure out that a train incident has happened, we're going to try to understand the incident. We've had numerous vehicles struck by trains, and within these city blocks right here. Nothing crazy, but you never know when the semi's coming through with the tanker, gets hit by a truck. That's worst case as well. It's all comes down to gathering information, communicating with our partners, messaging, getting responders on scene, getting evacs done, and that's the general gist of how we would handle such an issue, very quickly. And also preparedness, just messaging.
So, just to break up, if a train jumps the track tonight at 2 a.m. and it's got, I don't even know the name of those bad hazardous waste things on it, you do, but how soon will I get a message on my cell phone that what's the message going to say? I need to get out of LaGrange, or what's it going to say? 2 minutes after you started running.
Right. So the message, we have 2 ways of sending messages to the county that are both controlled by my office. We do Smart 911, which most of you should be familiar with. It's a county program. It's an opt-in option. You can sign up, you can text in. So we give multiple ways to get connected. We're going to be sending it out that way as well. The only issue with that is we can't do geographically for LaGrange specifically, but there is a second option which we just got last year. It's called IPAWS. Federal agencies love their acronyms. It stands for Integrated Public Alert Warning System. It's called IPAWS. We have that system that allows me, do you know those Amber Alerts that come over your phone that scare everyone half to death? We have that authority to send that out as well on the local level to anyone who is not opted into Smart 911. Basically, it's us forcing a message to your phone. The time frame is as soon as the incident happens, it gets reported to dispatch. Dispatch will make the determination if this warrants an EM call out, which they have strict protocol on when to notify me, to call me 24/7. Once that call is made and I'm aware of the situation that's going on, coordinate with the fire department, see what we got, and we'll work on messaging, whether it's shelter in place, depending on what is leaking and if anything's leaking, evacuation, where to go, which way not to go. We'll have that all in messaging, just to try to keep it as clear and concise and get people away from the incident. Yes, sir.
Is everybody on the same wavelength?
As far as what we're going to be doing?
Channel? I mean, the frequencies are, police talk to the fire, talk to the county, that talk to the feds, talk to, unlike we hear sometimes about nobody could talk to.
Right, and just to clarify, you're talking about over radios, emergency? Yes. We do have capabilities, yes. So police have their own channel, fire have their own channel, and the med units in our county have their own channel. We, depending on the situation, yes, we can combine them so everyone can hear everybody. Odds are, yeah, to answer your question, yes, that is a capability we have.
Is this a CD radio?
It is a digital 800 radio. We piggyback off of MetroSafe, and they have all the advanced equipment, so we kind of just piggyback, and we have very advanced infrastructure when it comes to radios out here.
What do you all do in the meantime? I mean, I know that was my question. I've lived here all my life. That people coming in can be reassured that that is all. Can you publicize that in some way to let them know that we have this what this program does?
Yes, I'm working this coming budget season. I do have some funds in there to help with just Smart 911 awareness, letting people know.
Right.
We actually do have a significant amount signed up compared to our Louisville partners who have about, I think, 700,000 people, and they have only about 20,000 signed up. We have 70,000 people, and we have 23,000 signed up. So we are well in that 1 percentile there with our Smart 911 compared to a lot of other counties that use Smart 911. Some people only get a handful, a few thousand. So I believe our messaging has been fairly well this last year. We gained just under 14,000 subscribers in 2024. Compared to the last few years, we got barely 800. So we almost doubled what we get in a year just because of our messaging that we're pushing out. So we will, we're getting posters made, any meetings. If I had my poster, I'd bring it tonight, and handouts. We're getting things printed up for that Smart 911. Social media is big. We're pushing a lot of social media posts for Smart 911. On the other side, we do have the iPaws. So at the end of the day, if you have those government alerts still active on your phone, which you can disable, but if you still have them active, you will get a message from emergency management if there's an issue.
Would you all possibly have, like Oldham County Day or something, bring that to the people so that they could come and ask you those questions?
Absolutely,
or you
yeah.
could show
We were
them?
right outside police, right outside next to LaGrange Police with our poster and everything last year. We
Okay.
plan to do the exact same thing this year.
Okay. I just think the more people know, then they won't say, well, I didn't know we had it.
Yes.
And I didn't know we had it,
Right.
so.
Yeah, we do. You can visit my Facebook. It's the first 2 posts are pinned up there. Same on my Twitter. We try to advertise it any way we can. We need help getting the word out there. So if you guys, I can get you some pamphlets, probably July, and
Okay.
we'll get you guys some handouts too to pass on to your city members as well.
Yeah, we could have a poster that we could put up
Sure.
here at City Hall. That'd be great.
Right.
Hey, that's not your white sandwich board sitting outside the LaGrange Police on the sidewalk there, is it?
I hope not.
Chief, you know what I'm talking about. I thought it was. I was from that shop with the cop thing. Ha. I just want to take a second to thank you and your entire family for the enormous contribution you and your family have given to the citizens of this community. it can't be overstated. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Any other questions? I have a little thing typed up I'll read if you would like me to, just to kind of further explain what emergency management is. I don't want to be respectful of your time, so if we're okay with that.
Yes, sir.
All right, so there's 4 key cycles to emergency management. We have mitigation, which is essentially cleanup, preparedness, response, and recovery. So the preparedness is what I do on a daily basis. When I walk into the office, when I leave the office, I'm thinking about plans. I'm thinking about messaging to the people on how to plan an evac route for your family, how to build a first aid kit, how to build just a family kit with important documents, things like that. We have a lot of outreach we're trying to do this year's or next budget. We're going to be trying to do schools. We're going to be getting with schools as well to just inform people that being a little self-sufficient just by planning an evac route, a family rendezvous point, all these things go a very long way. It doesn't seem like it, but it does. That's the preparedness. Response is pretty self-explanatory. It's us responding to the emergency. So we had the tornadoes in April of 2024. Last year, we had and I was only 5 months in the job, so hit the ground running on that one. Luckily, it wasn't as devastating as it could have been. It was a low-grade EF2. It took out a handful of roofs from some residents, but nobody was hurt, thankfully. We had a major gas leak, so things could have been significantly worse, so we got lucky with that one. I don't anticipate the weather being too kind to us this year either, so that was me going out there communicating with what we call the incident command, who the first fire commanding officer on scene will take charge of that scene, and they will start dictating what firefighters, the boots on the ground, are going to be doing, who's going to be doing what. I am coordinating with them. My job is to show up and say, what do you need? I've got contacts, local, state, federal. Do we need to bring in, Louisville firefighters? Do we need to bring in a crane for some reason? That's my job, to call them and figure out logistics and get them out here. The recovery. Recovery is a multifaceted situation. We actually just closed out the April 2nd tornadoes we've been dealing with. The recovery is a very long. People down in where Katrina hit, they are still working on that recovery process. So recovery can be 2 weeks, could be 20 years. But luckily we closed out ours with FEMA funding and all of that with the declaration we had. That's the more communicating with your federal partners on the recovery part, because we do have some, when we have damage down here, we do get some funds released to the county, city, whatever is being affected, to work with. How we handle emergencies, that's a fun one. We have 6 fire departments in the county. I work with all of them. We have LaGrange being one of the bigger ones, South being one of the bigger ones, South Oldham Fire. We work with them a lot. I work with their chiefs, their deputy chiefs. We meet probably way too many times, but we meet a handful of times a month to discuss trainings, future events, things that they need addressed, things I need addressed. They're a great group of people. They really help move the county forward. A lot of them are tomorrow thinkers, and that's what we need in public safety. We have the 4 law enforcement agencies, and we have the county EMS. We have Public Works, engineering, energy companies. I work with all of them. Red Cross, Salvation Army. I'm working with Walmart right now to get a siren, another tornado siren out here. So I'm working with all sorts of people trying to get just initiatives started, things moving along. The number one thing that sets us apart from most counties around us outside of Jefferson County is our task force. So we have Oldham County Task Force, which is, you have to be on the fire department to be in the task force. The task force makes up the search and rescue team, the drone team, the aerial response team, our hazmat team, and I believe Swift Water Rescue. Our drone team is heavily sought after from Henry County, Trimble County, Shelby County, Carroll County, Owen County. We help all of our neighbors with our drone team when they need it. Mostly it's used for missing people. So if they have somebody missing in a wooded area, that it's too dangerous for rescuers to advance in, we'll send the drone out to them. We have very high capabilities with our drones. I think we have 6 or 7 drones now. One of them is fairly advanced. Yes, yeah, we have a full drone trailer.
Do they have FLIR?
Yes.
They do? That's awesome.
One of our more expensive ones can carry, I believe it's up to 8 pounds, so we can drop a little lunch bag to them, water. Yes, yeah, we have significant capabilities with our drones. Which again sets us out from a lot of our neighbors. So we're very, very fortunate to have that. We do have the hazmat team. Again, we work with Hazmat 6, which is a regional-ish team. That is mostly funded by Louisville. They haven't played ball with us too well lately, so we're working on kind of being a little bit more self-sufficient. Hazmat's scary. I appoint somebody to do the hazmat coordination out here, and they just report back to me. He's much smarter, and you don't want me messing with that stuff. So he works with me. He's very good at it. So we do have hazmat plans. We have a hazmat team, full hazmat trailer to deal with. The biggest hazmat we have dealt with was Treehouse Foods off Quality Place in Buckner. I believe that was 2020, 2021. They had some sort of cleaner they used out there. They had a significant spill. Luckily, that's the only time we've ever had to activate the full hazmat team. We do handle 71. We have diesel spills all the time when the commercial vehicles wreck out here. Nothing hazmat. Any questions about the task force or anything? We have pretty good capabilities with them. So, and they are open to the city, and Chief Collette knows this. They always just tell dispatch to give me the search and rescue if we have a runaway juvenile who maybe got in and over their heads and didn't realize how cold it was or something when they ran out. So we do go out on a lot of runaways. We do go out on any missing, whether you're 2 years old to 90 years old. We're going to go out on you if we believe that your life is in danger and you meet certain kind of guidelines. And it's a hit or miss. We do get a lot of the runaways, and they don't. Parents usually won't report it for 30 minutes or an hour, and they're in a vehicle, they're kind of long gone. But if you're running off into the woods, and every police officer knows this, every fire department, they'll call for the drone team, and it makes our jobs significantly easier. To put in perspective, we had a training out on the Waldeck farm, which I believe is huge. It's a huge farm. We brought in a small Cessna fuselage to mimic a small plane crash. We dispatched all the fire departments, and the task force knew that there was going to be a training, but they didn't know what. Well, they shouldn't have known what was happening. So they were getting dispatched, real dispatch for a training, but it was how it would work in the real world. And they all responded. The drone team found it in like 45 seconds. But we wanted to make it a little challenging for the boots on the ground. So we told them to cool it for a minute. But they broke into tasks, their little tiny teams, and they all went out. We had, I believe, 6 survivors that survived the plane crash and just walking wounded type thing. So it was a very beneficial training. All of our partners played along in it. We do try to do those large scale county trainings at least every few months. It's a little harder with the overtime and getting everyone to play and all of that, and just thinking of something new to do. But all of our partners out here are absolutely, everyone wants to learn, wants to get the experience, wants to get the training, and I couldn't be more thankful. They make my job significantly easier. I've gone around to about 6 or 7 counties to look at their EM to get ideas on what they're doing. The horror stories I hear from some of these on who fights with who and all of these things. It's so our police chiefs, especially Chief Collette, work very well together. So with that said, I'm going to end it there. I know I'm kind of rambling now. I love what I do, and I appreciate the opportunity to present in front of you guys and the audience. Is there anything?
Thank you, Mr.
Any questions? Anything?
Anybody have any question for Zach?
Yeah, do the drone team, I didn't realize there were multiple drones. I thought it was just one. How often, do police use that too, or is it a separate situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a mini drone that police love. It can be flown indoors. It's the FPV where you can put the goggles on. We had it barricaded out in the county, and they luckily were able to fly through an open window with one of our drone pilots and give police just a look on the inside before they breached if they were walking into an ambush. So
That's awesome.
Yes, we use it for the schools. We used it for South Oldham Middle School. We had a training for an active aggressor, and we just sent that bad boy in. And as police, we're 30 seconds behind it, but the drone was given that advanced look before they breached the room, make sure there was nobody shouldn't be in there.
Awesome.
Very huge on officer safety.
And you
yes.
work with CSX too?
Yes, yep.
Well, you
CSX,
have to-
LG&E, all of those big corporations that have pretty good stakes in our county.
Okay.
All very cooperative as well, thankfully.
Do the drones have the heat seeking ability, like if you're up
Yes, yep.
in
And
woods or whatever?
yeah, we have multiple drone pilots, but our 2 primary are very good at the flare. They can identify what a baby goat to a manhole from like about almost 400 feet in the air. They are very good at it, and those are the guys you want looking for you if you're lost.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little baby cow walking through a farm. We're like, oh, what's that? And like, it's a baby cow. And then he's like, I'll prove it. And yeah, it was significant. He was right. They have a big spotlight we can turn on the drone, just like it looks like a helicopter. We can talk through the drone. Can't talk back because all you're going to hear is the rotors. But we have PA speakers, so we can give people instructions. If they can't see above them, we can tell them to turn left and things like that for the easier way out. So yeah, we have a lot of capabilities with our drones.
That's really awesome.
Okay, if no one else has anything further for Zach, I certainly appreciate you coming in, Zach. That's what we were wanting to hear. But before you leave, how's your brother doing? I heard he's doing great.
He's doing great. He texted me saying, good luck. He's my little hype man. He loves it. He's loving life. He's moving, talking, walking. He's doing his thing. He's eager to get back to life. He's been, we're approaching 2 years now. He's eager to get out and move, and he said, I can't wait to start working out again. Because there's some priorities here to help him kind of set himself up for the rest of his life.
Right.
But he misses working out, and we both have gained significant weight over the last 2 years. So he's happy as can be. There is no sad days. He's out of bed, like I said during the thing I did in Louisville. He's out of bed almost every single morning before 8 a.m. Even on the weekends, he is getting out of bed. He doesn't mope around. Woe is me. He is a fighter.
Good.
And he absolutely brings it out in me too. And the only reason I'm doing this is because of him. So.
Well, please tell him we said hello from
Sure.
LaGrange City and myself, and because he's one of our guys that we
Appreciate
just
that.
totally love.
Yeah, I'll pass
Okay.
it on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Will.
Okay, Barbara Manley. Barbara Manley, she's with she's with the Historic District Commission. She's their staff person, and she reminded me today, or I guess a while ago, that I had mentioned something about what was the word, Barbara, that you want to come and just please tell the council about?
I've come with some exciting news, and my name is officially Barbara Manley Calloway, so I did get married. Anyway, I have some exciting news. Huh?
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been about 6 years now, but anyway. The honeymoon never ends. Okay, I'm with the Historic Districts Commission, and I'm going to keep this brief. John asked me to keep it brief. But I do want to, I gave you all 2 pieces of paper that deal with what we are calling our positivity campaign. Now, this started before I was hired as the staff person, but what we're trying to do is dispel any myths that have come about over the years regarding the historic districts and the commission. So we have gotten a grant. We are a certified local government, and the reason we're a certified local government is because we have a historic district, and we have 2 historic districts. But what we're going to do is there's a letter there that explains a little bit about the grant, the proceed, to go ahead and proceed with the responsibilities that we have to fill that grant. And the other piece of paper I gave you is a letter that will go out along with a brochure. And I do not have the brochure. It should be here by Wednesday. But I can send everyone an email copy of the brochure that we have had printed all about the historic district and anything anybody needs to know. But the exciting news that I have is part of this grant. We are bringing into LaGrange Bob Yap. And if most of you, I don't expect you to know who Bob Yap is, but Bob Yap is a big deal with preservation. He is a nationally acclaimed restoration and preservation expert. Bob comes in and he does 2 workshops that we're going to have him do on windows, how to repair them, how to make them more efficient than anything that you could replace. And also, he's going to talk about a paint job that can last for about 20 years. So, like I said, Bob is very well known within the preservation world, and we're very excited to have him here. So we're hoping to have some TV coverage, newspaper, and hopefully some radio coverage. And this is going to be RSVP. We're going to also provide lunch, but all of the city council members, all the public officials, this is open to builders, contractors, real estate people, anybody that deals in any type of historic property. So this is going to be some valuable information. And also, since we have a lot of new council members, and I don't know if any of you, even that have been on the council for a while, have had the Kentucky Heritage Council come in and give you a seminar on the Kentucky Heritage Council, what it means to be a CLG or a certified local government, and the benefits of having a historic district and being in a historic district and owning property. So there are all sorts of things that I think are important for everyone to learn. So what I would like to do at some point in the near future, we can have the Kentucky Heritage Council come in and give you a seminar, which you would also get points for, and I think you all credits that you can utilize your educational credits. And you will also get educational credits for this workshop that we're going to be doing, and it's going to be March 8th, right here in the City Hall. So this is, like I said, a real exciting thing. It's a very positive thing for LaGrange. We're also inviting other CLGs. So we've got Anchorage, Middletown, going to invite Carrollton, also Shelbyville. Kentucky only has 24 certified local governments in all their cities, and we happen to be one of them. So something to be proud of. It's a badge of honor. And trying to think if there's anything I've left out, but you will be getting an invite in your emails, and it is an RSVP form, that we'll need to know. We need to know how many people are coming, so we'll know how much food we need to have ready. So, does anybody have any questions?
I do, Ms. Callaway. What, on the minimum match, is that something that there's already funds for, or is that something?
This is a grant, it's a 60-40 split, the way the grants work. So it's 60-40, and that's going to depend on how much we actually end up using. But they will pay 60%. We have a 40% match, which can be through money, and it can also be in kind. So there are different ways to work that.
Yeah, I just didn't know, does the money come from city council?
It comes from the city, yeah. The previous city council approved this, so, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. One question too, and perhaps I'm asking the wrong person. I don't know who the chair is of the.
Stan Klossing is here, but I'll try to answer
Hi,
if.
Stan. Examples of improvements of alterations that require a certificate of appropriateness, and it's on here listed. My question is if these are the exact same replacement. So, for example, you have a deck that's 24 by 10. It's old, you replace it with the exact same 24 by 10 deck. Does this have to go through a whole system to?
Every case is different. I mean, this is something we could take up at another time, but every case is different. So we take each case on an individual basis. It depends on what your project is, so many things that are variables, but everything is taken on an individual basis. We had 23 cases last year, and only one case was denied. So,
Okay. And then one other question. One of the newer historic district board members had mentioned that there's a rule that if you miss 2 meetings, you're kicked off the board.
no, that's a guideline. It's what we need to have a quorum to have hearings. So if we don't have a quorum every time, we're taking up a lot of time, people applying for whatever their projects are. So
Sure.
if we don't have a quorum and we can't have a meeting, then that sets people back, and we certainly don't want that to
Do we have
happen.
that same policy here, Mayor? If you miss 2 meetings, you're kicked off the council?
No, Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Jason,
No,
that's
you're
not always the case. That is, I think that may be in the bylaws, but you can look, those should be on the city website. Any questions that you can think of, you can maybe answer by going to the city website under
Okay.
commissions and boards. All of our guidelines are on there. They're pretty straightforward, pretty easy to understand. There are also every property that is considered a resource or an inventory is also listed. So it's really interesting, and if you haven't familiarized yourself with it, I would highly recommend it as good reading. So,
Okay, well, it sounds like there are, like you had mentioned with the replacement, it depends, it's on a case-by-case basis. With the missed 2 meetings and you're out, well, it depends, it's on a case-by-case basis. It seems like there's a lot of not hard and fast rules.
well, there are guidelines, and these come down from the National Park Service, so these are guidelines that we go by. And we're not cookie cutters. You know, a lot of HOAs have much more stringent guidelines that they go
HR
by.
person would be having a heart attack.
Yeah. So anyway, but I encourage you to come to a meeting,
Yeah.
and we encourage that. And actually, it's
I'm trying to
recommended.
learn as quick as
Right.
much as I can, so yeah, absolutely.
And feel free to give me a call anytime you've got questions. I'd be
Okay.
more than happy to try to answer any questions that you've got. That's part of what I do. So I get calls. So just give me a call. And the number is on the website. So just call the cell phone, and I'll be happy to
Perfect.
answer to the best of my ability.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Thank
so
you
much.
all. Do you have a question?
Yeah, isn't the quorum a fixed number?
I think it's one more than half of the majority, right?
Well, that's the usual rules for quorum, says it's the majority. But I thought that the way that the historical commission is written is that it only takes 3, regardless of whether you've got 50% or more.
Okay, well,
But, I mean, that was one of the reasons that y'all wanted more members, not 15 people on the board. The probability of getting 3 people is a lot more likely. And I'll check into that again. but
Check into that,
I think
because-
the ordinance says it only takes 3 for.
okay, check into that, because I was thinking it was
Because
one more
that can
than.
be problematic.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you guys need more people just to get the number of 3.
Right, absolutely. That's a problem. That's an ongoing issue. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. That's
Okay.
any other questions?
Barb, when is the next meeting?
It's always the second Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock, right here.
Second to 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Yes,
Here?
right here, right here.
Here, okay,
Exactly, right here.
gotcha.
And while she's here, I'm looking for some Historic District Commission members as we speak. So if you know of somebody who has interest, who understands what the preservation is about, but I've told Barb and I've tell everybody, I don't load these committees up with one-sided viewpoints. You got to come in and say you're open to what the request is. We want people to feel good about the Historic District Commission process. So if you have some folks who might have interest in sitting on this commission, I've got about 2 or 3 that are going to be stepping aside immediately. They just don't have time, and I'm telling you, this commission's hard to find the people whom basically are qualified and are willing to sit in this position. So
I'll tell you a couple of different people
well, I
that we
wouldn't be
need.
telling them right now,
No,
okay?
But
So you can
city
bring them to
council
me.
members are recommended, according to our bylaws, are a recommended member of the commission, so.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, they wrote the ordinance, and they're going to vote on their ordinance, you know? So I'm not getting into that just yet.
Is
That's
there a
what the-
committee that kind of holds hands with the historic district, so to speak? Mayor?
Excuse me?
Is one of the committees kind of touch base with the historic district, and one of the committees that we have standing?
Not anyone I can think of.
The
Well,
Board of
that might be a
Adjustments and
good idea.
Appeals, but we work, I mean, we're similar in many aspects to the LaGrange Main Street program,
Yeah,
which
they-
we have a lot of the same
There's a close connection there.
platform as far as historic preservation being key. But anyway, no more questions? Yes, code enforcement works very closely with us. She
Okay.
is our, we really couldn't operate without her, so. But we'll schedule something to have the Kentucky Heritage Council come and give you all a good overview on what it's all about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, Barbara and Stan. Stan Clausing's with Barbara tonight as well. Okay, under public comment, I had the pleasure today of driving Sherry Mulkins around the city. You all met Sherry at the KLC conference, and she brought her young engineer with her tonight, Jonathan. He's from Lexington. Sherry's from Louisville. She just wanted to stop in today and see and let me give her a tour of our city. And I took her to the state reformatory as well. She didn't like that too much, but I took her back there anyway and showed her our state prison system. She said, "Let's get out of here." But Joe Davenport came as well. We met about 4 o'clock or there, so around that time. I have shown Sherry and Jonathan the whole city, and they said, "Man, you've got a lot going on here, Mayor." So I showed her everything, north, south, east, and west, possible potential development. And you all have met them before. You met them in Lexington, so they just want to come by and say hello. They're out approaching and meeting different cities, different utilities to see perhaps their business folks, and they're just trying to make friendships, connections as to what they do. So they're with Clark Dietz Engineering. Their motto is engineering quality of life. So they think we have a great quality of life here. So either one of you or both of you, you're welcome to come up to the podium and say hello to the city council once again. And then you can get out of here and head back to Lexington and Louisville if you choose to.
Is it 30-minute time limits? Is that what it is? Or?
4 minutes.
4 minutes?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
all righty. No, I appreciate Mayor and Joe taking us around. First time in LaGrange. I'm from Jessamine County. If you guys know where Jessamine County is, just south of Lexington, small town of Wilmore, 2 stoplights. We have a train that goes through the town as well, but I did not know that about, he's not here, but what to do if a train were to fall over. But so no, I'm glad to be here. I'm the area manager for Kentucky, so my specialty is water and wastewater and stormwater, and in every community in Kentucky. Thankfully, we have a lot of that. In other areas, they don't, but too much of it can be a problem if you're on the sewer side. On the water side, it's good. But we're like the mayor said, we're just kind of going around, getting our name out there, letting people know that if there's anything we can do to help, we're here to help, and would love to meet you guys and appreciate you guys having us.
Thanks. So I'm not going to say much because I've met all of you except for you. You didn't get to join us at Carson's in Lexington. So thanks for letting us come. Mayor, thank you for taking us around today. Yes, I visited LaGrange when I was a little girl and other times, but what you all have got going on here is amazing. The growth that you have and the opportunity of growth that you have. Economic development is happening right now in the state of Kentucky, and I'm sure it's going to be happening a lot in LaGrange. As the mayor knows, I was with the World Trade Center Kentucky for 12 years, so that will never leave my heart of economic development and international trade and all of that stuff. So I have lots of connections, not just in the engineering world now, but across Kentucky. So let me be a resource in whatever you may need. So thank you for taking us around today. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions or thoughts or comments for either Sherry or Jonathan before they depart? But thank you all for stopping by, and hopefully you'll send somebody good to our city, and we're looking for good businesses, and you name it.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you all. Come back and see us.
Thank you.
What's that? Hey, excuse me, Latasha?
No.
What? I know. Yeah, we're still in public. Okay, thank you all once again. We're still in our public comment section of our agenda. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak during public comment time? Yes, ma'am.
Do I have to push this, I guess? Or do I have to speak to it?
You're on.
Hi, I'm Amanda Starr. I am born and raised in Oldham County. I don't do anything political. But I came to the meeting last month, and I was intrigued by something. You guys talked about the settlement, the opioid settlement across Kentucky, but we couldn't see on the monitor, like, how much money the county will be getting or the city would be getting, because, like, it was blurry. So I'm not against the money going. You all talked about using the money to raise awareness, you know, with kids and stuff like that. So I researched it, and $3.6 million of that money has already been given to Better Without It, which is a children's program. And the Oldham County Fiscal Court gave $20,000. I'm not sure what else was given, but I reached out to one of the RNs that runs the methadone clinic in LaGrange, and I reached out to 7 counties, and I mean, they're drowning. Like, they need help. They need a sober living house in LaGrange. They struggle with, you know, just finding resources for those people. Some people can't, like, they may try to go there, but they may not have insurance or whatever the case may be. LaGrange has, it's called Good News Homes, I guess I researched, and that is like one, but they don't just do addiction there. It can be homeless, it can be domestic violence, that type of thing, and they're very limited on the space. So I just thought these were some interesting facts. In Oldham County, we've already had 2 deaths this year in LaGrange from overdoses. It's February 3rd, so that's concerning. In 2023, we had 17 deaths in Oldham County from overdoses. I think that's a lot. So I just would like the council just to consider maybe trying to start a committee and maybe using the funds, not just, you know, in the school system. Obviously, that's a good idea, but maybe looking at using the funds somewhere else.
What were the top 2 organizations that
Oh,
you
yeah.
suggested?
Like here, like what we do have, or like what we could
Yeah,
do.
because we worked with Operation Parent and fund that program, but we've got a lot more, and county's got even a lot more, and we want to, you know, use it appropriately. We interviewed 7 counties, and they didn't really give us anything substantial. They just said, just give us the money and we'll spend it right.
Right, no, I
Okay,
agree.
and we wanted a specific program, and they didn't come up with that, and so we didn't fund them. But if they would come up with a program that we thought was oriented towards youth, or, I mean, we don't have enough money for therapy.
Right.
You know?
Is it possible to, like, I don't know, I'm asking because I don't know these answers. Is it possible to, like, form a committee, like, of, like, you know, like I saw on here, like, how you guys have committees for, like, Oldham County Parks and Rec and different things like that. So I didn't know, like, is it possible to, like, form a committee for, like, a specific fund, like, if you were trying to, you know, start something like that?
Sure.
We don't have to form a committee. Any council member who feels that there may be appropriate use of this through anybody they could bring to the council's attention, and where this usually goes for, since it's dealing with money that we have cash on hand in that settlement money, then they would come before, at this time, the budget committee and say, hey, we've got a great use of this money. We would like to ask and request $15,000, and I would just defer to that committee to see perhaps if it thinks it could pass mustard with the opioid folks, and
Right.
make sure, because there's a lady who works for CACO, Kentucky Association of Counties, who would come in here and tell us up front, is this a qualifying use of the money?
Right.
Because, you know, we got to make sure that whomever we give it to, because we're going to be the one that they're going to come back to based on who we gave it to at the end of the day.
Okay. So
Okay?
it just needs to be something that's ironed in stone that has, and so, like I said, the RN from the methadone clinic too, she was very, you know, like very helpful. She said, you know, she would definitely be willing to come talk to the council on her own, kind of share with you what she's seen. They did not have an enormous response when they first opened up. She said they didn't even have any clients hardly. And she knew that there's patients out here that needed it because she was seeing them in Jefferson County, but they aren't wanting to go, you know, go be seen, you know, whatever, things like that. But she was just talking about the need for it, you know, like a ton of their clients, even in LaGrange, she said, are homeless or living, motel, things like that. So maybe if we could, like I said, get, something started, maybe I could reach out to some churches, some other things, see maybe ideals and things we can go, and if there's money left in there, maybe we could use it for other things and help the kids too. Like I said, I didn't want you all to think that I'm against giving money to the schools. Of course, I think drug education early is important too, so.
If the methadone clinic, I mean, our understanding is the majority of their patients are Medicaid.
Mhm.
So our money's not necessary because Medicaid pays 100% of their drug use of methadone.
Right, so it'd be more like of a sober living
But if
issue.
there's people that can't afford, that don't qualify for Medicaid because they're not dirt poor and they have more than $3,000 to their name, but they can't afford what it costs for methadone or buprenorphine chemical or naltrexone, then, which are really pretty cheap. We would love to be able to help folks with
Yeah.
that or that.
Point of order, Mayor, is this legal advice or opinion?
Opinion.
Okay, so this is public opinion?
I guess it's personal opinion.
Okay,
It's fact.
okay.
Are you talking about the chemicals I mentioned?
About what we could offer as a council?
Well, I'm the person that got the loan, I mean, not the loan, but the grant through. And I just have a little bit to say about what we use it for, but it's ultimately your decision.
Okay.
So whatever you want to spend it on, that's good.
Okay.
You can be
Anybody
on
else
that
have any
committee too
questions
if
or
you want.
No, and
Yeah.
please, if you have any suggestions and you feel like it would qualify, I would make sure we contact the lady I wish Kentucky League of Cities had this same type of lady as does the Kentucky Association of Counties.
Okay.
But she will, and I'll get her number for you.
Okay, that'd be great.
And we do not want to sit on this money.
Right.
We're going to get this money every month,
Yeah.
for 19 years. So we're not in the business of just hoarding this money. We want to give it out,
Right, well, I have the opinion that even if we save one person's life, that'll be worth it, so. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you, too,
Thank you
as
for
well.
bringing that to our attention.
Okay, anyone else, public comment? Anyone? Okay, if not, we're going to move on to number 8, and that would be Main Street Director's Report. And as soon as we get to Main Street Director's Report, we're going to have a 5-minute break.
Sounds good.
So, Sarah, welcome, and please speak to the council.
Hi, guys. So before we started, I handed out some of our financial paperwork, and I also handed out to you an invitation to our open house. We're hosting, Main Street is hosting, Main Street's hosting an open house. We're going to be hosting it at the Train Museum. We'll have light refreshments. I would love for all of you guys to come. I'm also inviting building owners, business owners, and other city officials. My hope is to really showcase the facade grant that we have going on with the city right now. There's a couple building owners I have on my list to speak to about it that I think they could really utilize it. So if you have any questions about that, or if you can't make it but you still want to be in the loop, I can absolutely send a follow-up email with you on that. So any questions on that matter?
Is this the first one of these?
Main Street, typically, I think they annually try to do an open house. This is my first one since I've been here. But I believe they had one back in 2023, in December of 2023.
Did they? Okay. This is the first one I was aware of, so thank you very much. That's a great idea.
Where are you on the facade grant? Has the committee met?
So the committee is meeting, let's see, it's a week from today, I believe. Yes, a week from today, at my office in the morning. Just to, everyone, we only have one new addition to our committee. So I'm just really want to focus on getting her up to speed on everything and make sure that she's still happy with the guidelines that we have laid out. And then, like I said.
Have our 2 members of the city council seen the guidelines of the process to qualify?
I believe I sent it out in the email of our guidelines. If I have not, I can absolutely send it to you. But Mr. Davenport has it from when we worked on it last year. So.
Because once you get that, Once you get that put in writing, I'd like to have it so I can dispense it to the city council entirely.
Yeah, it's on my website right now, but I'll go ahead and I can forward everyone.
What's the, do you know yet what the maximum allowable that you will give any one property owner?
Up to 5,000.
Okay.
Yeah, and the city was gracious enough to give us 50,000, so we can do multiple projects, and it's really great. So again, that's something I really want to push at the open house.
Are you gonna be able to get it done before June 30th? Because if you don't, you're gonna lose it.
Fingers crossed. I can only encourage them so much.
We can roll it over, but it's gotta be reapproved by the city council in the next
Understood.
budget.
Right, understood, absolutely. Let's see, in other news, Alley Loop is doing pretty well right now. They just got in a couple instruments for an art installation they're working on, and I just learned that Project Guild is interested in reaching out to them regarding Oldham County Day, so that'll be fun. Hopefully we can get them hooked up and they can be a part of that. Let's see here, Chocolate Crawl.
Chocolate Crawl is great.
Thank you so
There were
much.
people walking everywhere.
Good.
The weather helped too, but
The weather was
great.
beautiful. Yes, and I saw several of the city council members there. I really appreciate y'all showing up, and it was wonderful. We typically sell 500 tickets, but this year we boosted it to 6. We sold all 6. So it was very successful. A lot of people came. We offered feedback forms that many people filled out, so I have a lot of feedback from attendees to review and to see how we can better improve it. But overall, the feedback I've seen so far is wonderful. So very excited. Someone even suggested we do something like this in the summertime. Do it twice in a year. I don't know if I can make that happen, but maybe. So again, thanks to the folks who showed up. Extra shout out to the Taylors. You guys might have seen the video. They helped me draw the raffles for the winners, so that was really fun, and it got a lot of traction on social media.
Good idea, too. Good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know next time. If I have another raffle coming up, I'll let you know. So the next thing we have coming up is Main Street Derby, which is going to be on March 22nd. Chief will be happy to know we are not going to close down Main Street for this one. Typically they do. In the past they have. We're going to try and host it at Springs Park instead. It's just a little bit of a safer environment. So again, that's March 22nd. We are currently working on and almost completed a T-Mobile grant. I've spoken about this before last year, but it is $50,000. It's a $50,000 grant from T-Mobile, and we would like to use it to improve the foundation of my current office building, the Welcome Center. It's owned by the city, so this is something that you guys would, of course, have to approve of, but the grant would cover everything, all of the work that would be required, and then there would be, based on the bid we received, there would be some funds left over as well to hopefully help with interiors. So if anybody has any questions on that, please don't hesitate to ask. I got a bid from someone recommended by John Stewart, so that company, GPAC, is their name. Any questions so far?
On that matter, I just want to make sure that Corey, our person
Yes.
at the city level, he's involved with any bidding, any discussion of how they're going to do that work over there, if in fact the grant is gotten.
Absolutely. I've been in contact with Corey a little bit on it, just to make sure that he was, him and his team were okay to work with us on that, should we need any assistance. But absolutely, I want it to be as transparent as possible if this is something we do. So, like I said, if you do come up with questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I really only foresee this being a good thing if we do receive it, and it looks really good for LaGrange to receive a $50,000 grant. So we shall see.
How much grant? You say 2,000?
50,000, 50.
Okay.
I did ask that, I sent you an email asking if, since it's a city building, that you brought it to the building committee.
Yes, yes.
So if you could do that,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I do plan to, yes. We should be submitting, the grant application is due every quarter until the end of 2026, I believe, when the grant runs out. So as soon as, assuming we get approval and everything like that, or even beforehand, I do want to sit down with them and chat. Again, transparency is key, communication.
Yes, ma'am.
So, let's see here. Other than that, the only other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, see if you had any questions on, was the annual agreement form that the National Main Street Program requests. We get an agreement from the city, and I would be requesting the mayor's signature on this. I sent out the agreement early January, 1 or 2 weeks into January, and if anybody has any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer.
Do you need a motion to approve, or you just need a signature?
He needs a motion to approve,
A motion.
please.
I'll make a motion to approve. As
A
is.
motion made by Jason Kinzer.
I'll
to
second.
Approve the grant that Sarah's asking us to consider. We have a second by Jason Taylor. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm going to have you sign this. Should I wait till after this? Just bring
Well,
it
if
in.
you're leaving and you need tonight, I'll sign it right now.
Well, stick around. It looks like we have the facade committee.
You have what?
The facade committee is on the agenda, so I'll be here if you have questions on the facade.
Hey, Sarah, this might be conflating two things, and it may not work, but have you ever thought about maybe having the, one of the drone teams do a quick filming of, you know what I mean, like the chocolate crawl or something? I don't know if that's legally allowed or not, but worth the shot. It's worth, asking nicely.
So I had, the drone team was actually a part of Light Up LaGrange. They were there for security purposes, so I've worked with
Sweet.
them a little bit, and I'm very interested
Yeah.
in the drones. So
Yeah.
I look forward to potentially utilizing that. There are other people I know in the community that do have a drone, but I believe you just received your license, your pilot's license. Is that correct? Yeah.
But I'm not as good as them. I mean,
Well,
they would have an awesome. But yeah, the feedback that I've got just from a couple
Where's
of
it at?
beginner videos is pretty awesome. So that'd be really cool.
Absolutely.
Have a pro come in and do a fly down low, look into
we did
places and
two
awesome.
2 years ago, they used drones. They just hired a photographer. They used drones at Light Up LaGrange a couple of years ago, and that was wonderful. That
Yeah.
looks amazing.
Really cool
Yeah.
footage.
Yeah, thank you, though.
Okay, is that your report, Sarah?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else have any further questions for Sarah? If not, please, thank you for coming to see us. Have a good week.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, looks like up next is Ms. Donna Sabo.
Wait, I thought it was Miller time.
Oh, okay, we're gonna take 5 minutes. We need 5 minutes break. Sorry, right, Jason. Miller time. Please.
Yeah, my Union 5 here. Mayor, come on now.
Microphones, yes.
there's one thing I recognized just now about tonight, everyone, and you may agree with me, you may not, but Magistrate Kevin Jeffries is usually here giving me heck about Kentucky basketball.
Yeah, I noticed he
And,
wasn't here tonight.
I see he.
Mayor, I wonder why
so
that is.
I'm on TV, so Master Jeffries did not show up here tonight. He's always saying how great Kentucky basketball is, but I don't know where he is, but he didn't show here tonight, so we'll be looking for you next month, Kevin Jeffries. Okay,
Mayor-
next up,
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to remove that from the records for what you just said.
it's in the record. It's in the record. Okay, Donna Sabo, Tourism Director for the Tourism Commission. Thank you, Donna, for showing, and
Oh,
how you doing?
happy to be here. Good evening, everyone. First things first, congratulations to your team, Mayor Black.
Oh, you're welcome.
It was a great win at Rupp. So today, LaGrange Tourism sent out a press release. So this Sunday, February 9th, marks the 175th year of the first train that came through the tracks in LaGrange. So we sent a press release out, sent it to all the local news stations, stuff. Hopefully we'll get some buzz about that here in the coming weeks, but this Sunday is the official date. Bank accounts, checking account 28,788.70. CD 7-month 26,798.99, and I have another CD at $105,072.90. Some of the things that we're working on, we think that we're close to this audit, and then we get a list of more things they want. So we got a list today. They have everything they've asked for again, so we're still working on an audit, and that seems to be twice a week we're working on things for that. Again, the Rail Fest is May 9th, 10th, 11th coming up. It's a 3-day event. We do have the schedule now for all the entertainment. We will have Friday night music at Springs Park. We'll have Saturday night the Johnny Cash Band at Springs Park. So everything will be taking place here at Springs Park in our community for Rail Fest 175. We're looking forward to our new office. We're hoping to be in there very, very soon. So we're still working on details for that. And did I get done in a minute?
Excuse me?
I was just wondering if I finished within a minute. That's what they told
Well,
me
you
to go
probably
fast.
did, but,
I'm sorry. So does anybody have any questions for me?
I have one question about your office because I got a call this weekend that someone would like to rent it for a baby shower and wanted to know when it would be available and if there was a cost associated yet.
So all the rentals for that space would go through your Parks Department. Stephen Hall will
Okay.
take care of all that.
All right.
So
I'll
they
let 'em
need to
know.
reach out to him.
I'll let them
Okay.
know. Thanks, Don.
Other than the office and that, in a rail train fest, anything else tourism's thinking about doing or not doing? Or
We're
is there anything
working on-
is there anything on the horizon?
Yes, but I could probably speak at it next month.
Okay.
I'm not ready. I don't have enough details to speak on it today. But yeah, there's a lot of big things happening.
I'll just throw an idea out. Do you think that maybe we could have some, what do you call the folks that are spokesmen for the city? You know,
Ambassadors.
Ambassadors. Do we have like a pretty sweater or a nice jacket or something that the people who are in and around the town in a day's time could maybe have some kind of designation as a tourism tourism ambassador for the city?
I think if they look like Donna Sabo, that's probably your best bet.
Absolutely. So one of the things that Rhonda and I are working on is an ambassador program.
Okay.
And that's one of many projects we're working on for tourism. So maybe next month I'll have more on that for you. But yes, we could put them in a pretty sweater.
Don and Trey, did we get concrete poured over there yet?
Yes.
We did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looks really good, too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhonda took the railroad track today. It was a beautiful photo. We sent it to Katie today, so
Awesome.
it looks really nice over there. It's beautiful. They've done
All
a
right,
great job.
well, if no one else has any.
Anyone have any questions?
One quick thing.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you, because I keep forgetting, but I'd like to work with you all on, so with golf courses, they have partnered for the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, to where it's a stay and play type of thing, where you would pay so much to have, most of them look like they were unlimited golf, but you'd stay at a local hotel or Airbnb or just whatever for however many nights. And it's something that Henry County participates in, and it looked like Oldham County Country Club also participated in. So we're kind of sandwiched in between them, and I think it could be a good opportunity for our community.
Please reach out to me and we'll meet on that.
Okay.
I'd love to talk about that. Anyone else?
Whatever happened to all the interstate signs?
I reached out to JR today from
Did you?
Kentucky Logos.
Still working on it?
And I'm not still getting a clear answer. I know the mayor emailed someone this last week.
I'm emailing Matt Bullock on a couple of different subject matters, and I cannot recall I don't think he's provided me an answer yet on his brown sign again. Not yet.
And with JR, he doesn't have voicemail set up.
JR who?
With Kentucky Logos. I was
Okay.
trying to get some information
Okay.
from him. So you can't leave him a message. So if he doesn't answer, he doesn't answer.
No problem.
All right. Thank you all for your time.
We doing anything tourism-wise or anything for St. Patrick's Day? Special?
No.
Huh?
Nothing on my
Nothing?
plan. Would
Okay.
you like to something to happen in
Well,
March?
someone was telling me over in Madison, they do a buying a drink ticket, and the restaurants participate, and you can, for $50, you buy them up front, and then I think, I can't remember if you went in carriages or not, which we don't have in carriages, but what it would allow you to do is to go around the different restaurants, and restaurants who participated, you get an hors d'oeuvre and get a drink or something. I don't know if that could be done.
We need to have that
anyway.
drink ordinance for that to happen.
With this, you'd have to stay inside the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you couldn't be traveling
Chief
down the
Collette
street.
said he wants to shut down the street. I heard him say it.
Did he? Okay. So anyway, if we,
We'll take,
St. Patrick's Day, I didn't know if we do anything at all.
all right, we'll take a look
But,
at that. Would be,
That's between maybe you and Sarah or whatever.
I'll be glad to.
All right, that's it. That's all I have.
All
Donna,
right.
anyone else, anybody? If not, thank you, Donna, for showing up.
Thank you. Appreciate
And
you.
hopefully you'll be in your, maybe your offices by next month?
Hope so.
Okay.
We're working on that.
All right, thank you. Okay, Scott Treese is not here tonight, but it looks like Jonathan's here to give Scott's report. So welcome, Jonathan. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good. I hope everybody else is doing good also. I believe Scott has emailed you all this report. So some of the updates that he had put on there was the Oldham Reserve project. The clearing has started on that. They started moving some dirt and trees, that kind of stuff. The sewer rehab project has been approved by the Division of Water, and they'll be doing a bid opening in March at some time. The courts water rehab project, they have the bid opening set for May. And then the First Street water project that he discussed with you all last meeting, it's in design currently. So, does anybody have any questions? I'm not promising I'll have answers for you right now, but if I can answer it, I will.
What's the courts rehab project amount to?
So they're going to be going in. That's an area we have a lot of water breaks and stuff. So they're going to be going in and replacing all the old cast iron lines with PVC lines, and running new services and all that. So it's just to make one thing. That's a maintenance nightmare working on the cast iron stuff. A lot of times the valving and all that in that area is old. So this here, they'll be having new fire hydrants, valves, lines, all that kind of stuff will be.
You say that's out to bid right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be bid in, opening in May, yeah.
Okay. And the council has received the financial report from utilities, correct? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions either for Jonathan and/or the financial report? And when you're ready, I'll entertain a motion that we approve Scott Treese's financial report that he's given to the commission.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Motion made by Joe Davenport. Would there be a second? Second by Kenny Powell. Any further discussion?
I just have a question
Yes, ma'am.
about the 4th Street. They were out there today marking. Is that just
So that's where they're going to be, that's where we're doing the sewer rehab project.
Mhm.
They'll be redoing the sewer lines and everything on 4th and 3rd in that area.
Is that wastewater also, or is it just?
Yes,
sewer
that's what
lines?
it is. It's for
It's
the
wastewater?
wastewater, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just saw them out there today spraying around. So.
Yeah, you'll start seeing some stuff happening out there.
Okay.
Was there a water break on like 4th or 5th or Walsh Park? Are you aware of that?
I'm not. You talking about currently? Or-
I guess within the last couple of days. I didn't know if it was you.
Well,
all.
I know Oldham County Water had a major break. That would have been early Friday morning, I believe. And there was some air and settlement that got stirred up. I do know that happened because they was having to actually pull water from us to help serve them. And
Okay.
so is that what happened? You had some dirty water?
Well, since you brought that up, I did have a neighbor ask me, and I said usually that's because they're turning on and off the fire hydrants,
Yes, sir.
and not it stirs up some. So I didn't know that was the cause of that.
Yeah.
So good to know.
Yeah, I know that we had several, like just out our area or whatever, that was calling about low pressure, that kind of thing too. But as of right now, I don't know of any leaks on 4th. So
Okay.
we hope we don't have any.
All right.
Yeah, some of
Okay.
that was Saturday, I believe. And it was all like North 53 that
Yeah.
Oldham County had.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We've had several leaks, but we didn't have any last week. With the cold weather and it thaws and all that, that's when you do see a lot of water breaks happen. But
Yeah. Okay.
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, is anyone willing to make a motion on Jonathan's financial report tonight? Okay, I'm sorry, my motion is second, sorry, we were in discussion, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
Yep,
Appreciate
Thank you.
All right, Corey Rusnick was not able to be with us tonight, so I'm going to give his slot. I was going to try to cut back on all the directors and not necessarily having them here every night. We try to get them here periodically, unless you all request that one of them be here, but I'll give Corey's slot to Winter, Ms. Stephanie Winter. So would you like to come up, Stephanie, and tell the council anything that's going on that you'd like for them to be aware of? Yes,
The
ma'am.
only thing that I have coming up on the agenda is going to be our city cleanup day. I am working with a couple different organizations that want to come out, just like last year, and do some other miscellaneous cleanup projects for us throughout the city. I went around today and talked to some residents that needed some extra help with projects. So I'm working on arranging that, but that's our big thing. I've sent an email out. If you guys are interested or can stop by that day, that would be great. Have the mayor bring his hot dog truck for us. So we'll have hot dogs and chips to hand out to everybody that brings their junk up for city cleanup day. April 19th. And that is a Saturday from 10 until 2.
I'd like to clarify, I don't have a hot dog truck. I got this old junky wagon
And
that you call it a hot dog truck.
It's a hot dog truck.
but-
It is the
but-
coolest thing ever. Yes, you bring your hot dog truck up for us and we'll make some
No,
hot
it's
dogs.
a pull-behind trailer I made into, I forget what I call it. It's
A hot dog truck.
Poor man's truck. Well, that's what you use it for. That's what you use it for.
Oh, that's what I use it for, so.
So anyway, does anybody have any questions or for Stephanie and anything that she oversees for the city?
Stephanie, just to follow up on that, can you just tell everybody what is allowed and what is not allowed in terms of the pickup for that city cleanup day?
Yes, so the only things that are not allowed, we do not allow refrigerators or air conditioners that have Freon in them. The Freon has to be drained, so we cannot do that. Mattresses are welcome. We also do take tires. Paint, we do not accept paint. Now, the thing with paint is if you currently have paint at your house that's oil-based, hold on to that, and Oldham County will do a cleanup, pickup later this year for that. If you have any other kind of paint, take your lid off, dry it out, mix it up with some cat litter, and then you can bring that up to our cleanup. It just has to be dried. Otherwise, we take everything. Take junk metal, we take everything else.
What about batteries?
I'm sorry, there are two other things. No construction material. So if you're building a deck, don't bring us your construction material. And we do not take yard waste because yard waste is already picked up through the city program for the city, chipping brush pickup every week.
Take batteries?
We take batteries.
Take those?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We usually fill up 6 30-yard dumpsters and we pack them. And we have, Corey takes all the scrap metal and we take that down and sell that. And then we also do collect bikes. If anybody has any bikes not in good condition, we donate all the bikes to Northeast Christian Church down off Brownsboro because they have a program there that they will fix up bikes, clean them up, paint them, and then give them to people that are in need. So we take bikes.
Okay. Okay. Anyone have anything that they'd like to ask of Stephanie tonight?
Do you know if they bring any of those bikes back to this community?
Where the bikes go, no. I wish there was something closer, but and I haven't found anything.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Okay. City bus. City bus. Everything else that you're classified or you oversee, Katie, you're welcome to speak to it tonight. And glad to have you. And council wanted to hear specifically about the joint coin,
The fare
holders
boxes.
and things. But since they want to
We'll
hear about
cover
that,
that.
just that you come and give your annual report.
Okay, well, we're a little over halfway through the fiscal year, so I just brought some numbers to share with our ridership and so forth, and then to let you know what's going to be going on starting beginning of the fiscal year, July 1. So I like to track our ridership year to year to see where we're at. Our ridership's going up or down, especially with COVID. When COVID happened, we had lost about 40% of our ridership. When TARP came in and had a meeting with the mayor and myself and our then city clerk, they were pleasantly surprised at that number because they were down over 60% ridership. And they said, wow, you only lost 40%. Well, 40% is a lot when we look at what we were doing previously to that. So when I look at last year and I keep track of how many riders we transport a month, our drivers are responsible for tracking that every time somebody gets on our bus. They have tally sheets they have to keep track of. So we collect those and we count those. So last year, between July and January, we had, between July of 23 and December of 23, we had 4,476 riders. This year, between the same dates, we had 4,297 riders. We were down about 179 riders over a 6-month period. Breaks down to about 29 riders a month. I would say it's probably 1.2 a day that we're losing. We have unfortunately lost quite a few riders to deaths. We have had quite a few riders that we took on a daily basis to doctor's appointments who are now in full facility nursing homes due to medical reasons, so they no longer, ride the bus. So I knew we'd fluctuate a little bit there. Our most popular time is coming up in the spring and summer when everybody's out riding and kids are out of school and things like that. So we anticipate that our ridership is going to go up.
What do we average per day for riders?
Probably about 80 riders a day.
Wow, okay.
We used to be over 100 in that. A lot of them are regulars that come on. That includes our work riders in the morning that we take. We start our route around 5:45 a.m., and from 5:45 a.m. to 8 a.m., all we're doing is taking people, picking them up at their homes and taking them to work. And at the end of the day, between 4:30 and 5, we're picking them up and getting them back home. So we call that kind of a work rider route. And then our normal route starts at 8 a.m. and goes till 4:30. We're on a fixed schedule throughout the city, 12 stops, so that we stop at every hour on the hour, along with deviated routes. If people call in and want to be picked up somewhere off the route, we can schedule those as well, so the drivers know to pick them up. One thing I do want to make you aware of is the change that's coming up. It's going to be a huge change, especially as we're approaching budget season, budget time. Usually about April, I will get a contract through TARC as to what our funding would be for the bus, because like I said, we have always been a sub-recipient of TARC. We have been informed last year that that was going to be ending along with 10 other cities. They had 21 sub-recipients that they help fund, and they are cutting back. They've cut back a lot of their routes in Louisville as well, so it wasn't surprising that we were going to be released under their umbrella, and now we are going to the Department of Transportation. So I feel like we're going to be this little fish in this big pond at the state because we have a very small transit system. The changes to that are I am now responsible for applying for all of our funding, where TARC did that for us before. So I have got a challenge ahead of me with this grant funding through the state. The pool just opened up February 1st to apply, and we have to have it done by April 1st. When it comes to budgeting, though, we will not know what we are getting from the state until June. Usually we have that well before then. So I have a staff personnel at the state who's working with me. He did tell me that our city will be assigned a grant administrator and a project manager to work directly with me moving forward, but there has been nobody assigned yet. So I'm going to attempt the grant writing, and I hope I will have somebody by then who will be able to help guide me a little bit through that. But again, for budget purposes this year, we may have to take an educated guess based on what we've received in the past as to what we might get until we have those final numbers.
I wonder
in
if
June.
Main Street or Tourism knows of any grant writers that might be able to assist with that.
That would be
Might be worth
great.
looking into.
Okay,
Sarah Garrett might be a good source for that.
thank you.
I've got a contact as well, that if you need, that's all she does is help write grants through the
Okay.
state.
Maybe I'll shoot you an email.
Fixing problems left and right.
I'm telling you, this is great.
Katie, I have a question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, you're fine.
There was a video that popped up on Oldham County Grapevine recently.
Yes.
And you know how that's always positive on Oldham County
Sure,
Grapevine.
absolutely.
That's just a back up positivity on there.
Sure.
But one of the city buses, the train was honking. It appeared at the city bus, and it appeared to be pretty close.
It was, yes.
Close call.
Very.
What happened there? What's the deal?
Well-
how do we prevent that?
Well, in all the years that I have run the bus now, we've never had this situation happen. The driver who was driving has been with us a little over 3 years. He's never been in an accident. He's never had any issues, fender benders, anything with our buses. He actually called me when it happened.
Okay.
He called me right away.
That's good.
He was very shooken up because he said, you know, Katie, I'm going to tell you what just happened. I had to pull over for a little bit. I'm going to be running behind. I had to recollect myself. And I said, okay, what's going on? And he said, I believe he was at the Walnut and Main Street intersection. And it's a normal crossover every hour on the hour that we've done every day for, I'm pretty sure, since the bus has been running. And we actually, before I go any further, we have cameras actually installed on our buses. So I was actually able to go back on the cameras and see what transpired prior to this, what I call a near miss, because when he went over the tracks, the train was pretty much right there. What I can verify is that he came to a complete stop at the stop sign, that he turned to the left and completely to the left and was watching for traffic. As for his head turning to the right, he turned it partially, but he was wearing sunglasses, so I hate to say that he was not or was looking. But, you know, he wears glasses because of, well, you know, the sun and that.
Sure.
And he proceeded to go. when he came, I had him come into the office that day. I actually pulled him off the bus within the hour. I brought another driver in to replace him. We don't have a technical policy in place for near misses. We have policies in place for accidents and what our protocol would be. But I felt, due to what I witnessed and what I saw in the video as well, that I was going to take every precaution and safety measure necessary at the time. So I pulled him off the route, not knowing. Just wanted to make sure everything was good on his end as a driver.
I think that's prudent, yeah.
I went ahead and did a little further. When he came into my office, there was no signs of reasonable suspicion that I thought he had to be taken for a drug screen or anything like that. However, in our handbook, we have a policy called medical examinations. And this policy states at any given time that as a director or the mayor can, if they think it's warranted, can send somebody for what's called a on-the-spot DOT physical to make sure that they're not having issues with their eyes, not having issues with hearing, things like that, if it's warranted. I felt it was quite warranted at the time because his previous DOT was a year and a half ago, and he was coming up here in September for the second one. A lot of things can happen in a year and a half with people's health, so he went right away up to Baptist to get a full DOT, which he did pass. They actually ended up doing a little bit more. I did not request a drug screen in that, but they did do that, and he passed that as well. You know, he said, "Katie, I'm pretty sure I looked," and I said, "Well," I said, my job as a supervisor is to, when situations like this happen, like I said, this has never happened before, is to how can I do whatever I can possible so we're not put in this situation again. So one of the things was I right away called the Department of Training and TARC, and I talked to their representatives because I know with Oldham County Schools, when a school bus comes to a railroad crossing, they have to put on their flashers before they come. They have to park the vehicle. They have to open the side door for a clear view of the railroad tracks. I'm sure we've all been behind school buses when they've had to do that. But that is not required by our buses or TARC buses or even Department of Transportation standards. However, we can institute that. We can make that a policy because after driving through at that intersection, you know, there's the welcome kiosk there. Mm-hmm. It's also the part where the train curves. You know, it's kind of curving. So there's not a lot of free range sometimes, I would think, with the bus. So one thing that we did today was we did shut the bus down today for 2 hours, and we had mandatory retraining. And one thing that you will start to see on all the buses come this Monday, we ordered signs for the back of the bus, huge signs that we will be treating our buses like a school bus, and they will be stopping at every intersection. They'll be opening up the doors at every train intersection to have a better, clear view of that. It might mean that it's going to take a little bit of time at these stops, but we train the drivers on that today and so forth. It was just a very unfortunate situation. I hate, you know, I'm grateful
I
that
think you've made a lot of prudent, taken a lot of prudent steps, so thank you.
Absolutely, and the whole safety is my number one concern.
Yes.
And I appreciated the driver calling me and letting me know as well. I don't know, we had one rider on the bus at that time, and not that this is that funny at all, but if you were to watch the video, when the train was coming and the driver was over the tracks, he just said, "Train," and I was like right there at and our driver was like, "Oh my gosh." Luckily he, like I said, got over the tracks safely, but I have to look at it from a standpoint as we don't want to be in this situation again.
No.
Around 10:45 a.m. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going north.
Yes.
Laura, going north.
Right. Another thing that we are looking at, we haven't made the change yet, is changing the route a little bit. Instead of when coming over and crossing over, instead of crossing over at that intersection, we're thinking about coming all the way over to 53 and making the right on 53, where when they come to the tracks, the bars actually come down. There's a better view on both sides. It does mean the bus is going to go a couple blocks out of its way to get back on track, but for safety, I think it's definitely warranted. That we had to talk to the drivers today, and they agreed as well that it would probably be better just from a standing point of viewing at that intersection.
Sounds like excellent solutions. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions?
This is probably really for later, but I would like to point out that I think that this intersection needs to be looked at by the street committee, because I personally had a near miss in that same spot where the kiosk blocks your
Yes,
vision.
it does.
And I started to pull forward, and then I was like, oh my gosh, there's a train like very, very close. And so I stopped, and it was okay, but I feel like that we need some lights or something to indicate to drivers that there is a train coming. 'Cause I don't think the visibility is real good, especially when there's trees in bloom and all of that. It's a problem.
Moving the kiosk would be pretty easy too,
And
without getting
Maybe the kiosk is something we need to look at.
transportation.
And just another note, that intersection is part of, I'm not sure if this is what it's called, but the quiet zone. The trains are not required to honk as they come through there.
Right.
Now, our drivers have stated they always, a lot of times they do hear it honking, but they're probably honking for things that people might be walking or things like that, but they really are not required to. And, the driver said, "Oh, I didn't hear him honk previously," and I said, well,
They're not supposed to honk, is my understanding.
They're not supposed to
They're only
honk from-
supposed to honk if there's something.
Right. I think
that they
that Fifth
feel-
Street is where they're supposed to. I mean, it's a quiet zone up until Fifth, coming over the tracks. But again, it's a very quick curve, and it has a lot of like, I feel like it
think-
shouldn't be a
I
quiet
think
zone, to be honest.
As Laura said, the sight distance needs to be reviewed there, period.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Is that what you want to report about tonight, or you want to?
Yes, yep, pretty
Okay.
much,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Does anybody have any further questions or thoughts for Katie and the operation of the city bus? If not, thank you very much, Katie.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you, Katie.
Okay. Next up, Stephen Hall, Parks and Recreation. Welcome, Stephen.
Good evening. All right, so we got our decals on the back of our trucks. They have a QR code on them. That QR code takes, anyone who scans it will take you to our Facebook page, Instagram page, or the city's website. So we just got them on there a couple weeks ago, so we'll check back here in a few months to see how many people have scanned it.
That's all. That was Councilman Powell's idea, correct?
Correct.
Good call. Good call. I like it. I like it.
All right, so the next thing we did not get enough signups for the volleyball league that we just had this last time. So we're going to try it again here in the spring. We're taking registrations as of now. It's going to start in April. It's going to run through about the second week of June. We did get that in the spring edition of the What's Happening magazine, so a little bit more publicity there. Hopefully reach a few more eyes. Starting to get everything we need set up at 309. We are, at the next Parks Committee meeting, hopefully going to decide rental rates. That's not something I set, so hoping that's something that is put in place then, and a date when we'll start taking reservations there as well. So as soon as I know, I'll let you know as well. The Springs Park Summer Festival is going to be on Saturday, July 5th now. Sarah with Main Street, she is handling the music and food trucks, and we are handling the rest. I got fireworks booked for that night. With Phase 2 being open, there's a little bit more to handle logistically with crowd control, but we'll be fine. Everyone just has to be a certain distance away from the fireworks. That's around 550 feet, I believe. An update on the basketball court at Edmundo Park. Right now, of course, with the snow, it hasn't happened yet, with it just now getting gone out of the way. They did have to go back, add a piece of equipment to their quote that they have to rent. I did ask them to change the scope of it just a little bit. I wanted to add 2 little pop-out areas where we can put a bench there, where it's not just a square. That way there's some seating. We can add a trash can down there as well. Makes it look a little bit nicer and allows for seating as well. All right. Other than that, that's what I got.
What is it that you call on the July 5th? Is that Spring Park Fest or what?
Summer Festival.
Summer Fest. Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, Stephen, thank you. Is it no one has any further for Stephen tonight? If not, appreciate you coming in, Stephen.
Hey, Steve, one more question. And maybe Donna knows this too, did the speakers get put in over at Springs Park?
They did. Yes.
They did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they going off at the right time?
The only issue we have with those are the outlets that they plug into are on the same timer as the lights. So The lights are on a timer, the lights come on at night. That's the problem we have with them. So,
So we need an electrician.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I got a question. I'm glad he brought up the lights. I've gotten a call about Walsh Park. I know those lights are on a timer. Have we had those checked? Because with them staying on late, I've had someone ask me about them being on, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
The pavilion lights or the street lights?
No, the field lights.
The field lights.
Yes. They're not? Okay, they must have just, they might just be left on. I know during baseball season they do that, but I didn't think of anything right now that they would be doing anything, the last month and a half or so.
Right.
So it's something maybe we might want to ask Brad about.
Y'all ask him. It's been in the last month or so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have a question I could ask you about the electricity there in Springs Park. Can it be made to be on during the day, at least that, I'm thinking of Oldham County Day, and if anybody has
Yeah,
any type of things going on, because if they could use it to plug in.
Right, yes. So in both parking lots, there is an electric box. That's where all the food trucks hook up, but there is live electric there all day long. The light poles do have outlets on there. For events like that, we can cut the timer away,
Right,
and the
okay.
lights stay on, and the outlet will stay hot.
Okay. That was a question we had last year, and I couldn't answer that. I know that's what we did with Main Street, so they could have electricity.
I'll have them on.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stephen, appreciate it. All right, let's move into 13. Let's move on through these committees, see what kind of activity we get tonight with any future meeting scheduling or anything. So first tonight will be Parks and Recreation, Trey Kamer.
Thanks. So we have a lot of things to cover in the park system. I've just been jotting some of them down from today and just over the last month. I'm looking to propose a meeting next Wednesday, either 5 or 6 o'clock. So that's with Latasha and Jason K. I don't know if that works for your schedule, but that's the proposal that I would have, just to meet pretty routinely on the second Wednesday of the month. Five or 6 o'clock.
We probably need to get together an email so that we're not, so that if one of us needs, what I mean, so we're not having a meeting every 3 days. Maybe we have a couple of them on the same day. It might be a good idea. Knock them out. You know what I mean? And then if you go on vacation, you can kind of schedule around stuff like that.
Sure.
Or if you've got other things going on or whatever, it might be good to have a committee meeting, like 2 or 3 of them on a Wednesday, say.
We try.
Me and Trey
What are your
always has
thoughts on
Parks and Budget Committee on second Wednesday. We've been doing this for
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. We've always had our meetings on second Wednesday. Parks and Budget Committee. It's always
Parks
been
and
second
budget?
Wednesday. Budget second Wednesday also. Trey's on the Budget Committee, so that gives him, he don't have to come out another day, so we've always been that way with it.
Well, do we want to throw 3 of them in there on that second Wednesday and do economic development as well?
Depends on if your
We
committee,
plan on about an hour for each one.
depends on if your committee members can meet that early or that late. It doesn't make any difference. You can go at 4 o'clock or you can go at 7 o'clock on that Wednesday, okay? If you want to go on that same day. So it depends on your committee members, whether they can get out of work or not, get here by 4, even get here by 5. So you got to make sure that your committee members can make either early time
Jason, what are your
or a
thoughts?
later time.
Well, on any of them. I'm thinking instead of doing one where we got one every single day and you can never do anything without missing it, have kind of,
Yeah, he's on Parks. I don't know why he's talking about the third meeting
Okay.
that he's meeting
okay.
Parks and
Maybe we should,
Well, let's do this. Let's start with Trey. He's suggesting his committee should meet at Wednesday at 5 PM.
Yeah,
So
Wednesday at 5.
let's work down through here and see if we can get a consensus on, if everybody can meet on three given meetings on a given night. We'll see if it'll work out, okay?
Okay. Wednesday at 5, is that acceptable with Jason and Latasha?
second Wednesday.
Or would y'all rather, you can go at 6 and Joe can shift back to budget and see if budget go 5.
Wednesdays are terrible for me in general, but I can. Does it work for everybody else, though?
Works for me. Wednesday's always been budget meeting.
We're working on parks right now, Joe.
That's me and Trey and Laura on budget.
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about parks.
We are.
Well, we are too, but, but
Laura, you have a harder time getting here at 5 than you would 6, correct?
I can do 5.
Can you do 5? Okay.
Yeah, I can't really do any earlier than 5.
Okay, well,
She's not on parks.
I know. That's what he said. If she goes budget, she can come at 6 o'clock for sure,
Yeah, 6 is
right?
fine.
So was that good for Jason?
Yeah, I'm not on budget, I'm on park, so yeah, 5 PM, I'll make it happen.
Is that second Wednesday you were saying? Let's take a look to it.
Yes.
So 6 o'clock on budget?
yes, Laura. Or sometimes Trey runs over. If he starts at 5, sometimes he runs over.
It just depends. Some months are better than others.
I mean, not,
Better lock it down, Trey.
That sounds good.
I've seen the nights we didn't start budget.
Joe,
until
when
7:30.
historically has been the Economic Development Committee meeting?
It was very sporadic, honestly, Jason, because I don't think there was a lot of initiated out of it, okay?
All right.
So, not to say it wasn't, they just didn't have any subject matter, so if you think as chair of that committee, you can come up with some subject matter, then start scheduling it, as a regular monthly meeting. Okay?
Well, why don't we look at Thursdays at around 6 PM? How does that work for you guys, Kenneth, Trey?
I'm fine. All I have to know is ahead of time, just so I can plan my schedule.
Is there any way you could go 7 o'clock on Wednesday? Or is that too much for the other members to be there?
Wednesdays are terrible for me.
Okay, they're terrible. Okay.
The whole
Okay,
day, I've
that's
got,
fine. I'm just trying
I've got a ton of
to
other-
get you here the same night.
right, I appreciate that, but yeah, Wednesdays in particular are terrible for me.
Did you say the second Thursday?
Yeah, why don't we do second Thursday? 6 PM? So that's myself as chair, and then Trey and Mr. Powell as well. All right, who's next? Anybody else like Thursdays? Latasha, which one do you have? Oh, sorry.
You got to determine streets. You're up next.
Got it. We don't have anything to report on the streets, obviously. I had worked with Corey and Chief Collette just to see what day might work for them, because I'd like for them to be there. They were pretty open. So I had talked to Jason prior to this and Joe just now. I'm not sure, Jason, but what you have available on Thursdays like we had discussed.
Which week?
The second Thursday of each week.
What does that make it for next week? Is it next week or does it go?
That would be, it would be next Thursday would be our first one.
So that's the 13th?
Yes.
At what time?
And we could do it, what time do you get out?
Okay, I can go for second Thursday for regular.
Okay. Or,
What
is it
time
easier later for you? It's easier, for me, it's fine. I mean, if you want, like, if we had to meet at 7, if that,
What are the options that you have?
either 5 or 7.
Well, Jason's already taken 6, so
Right.
you're saying 5 or 7?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm not gonna be able to start next Thursday anyway, because Heather to schedule me for training the 13th, for planning and zoning training for
Are you
KLC.
good with 7?
Second Thursday at 7?
Okay.
On the
that's fine.
13th.
Maybe to just clarify, so I'm having a parks meeting next Wednesday at 5. I know we're talking about times, but I'm having a meeting, so just, and we are having a budget meeting, correct? But we're not having economic development, correct? Next.
Correct.
Okay.
All be in Nicholasville.
All right, sounds good. And then you are having your streets one next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
All right, thank you.
But I'll think about you all. Team
Okay,
thoughts.
okay, when's ordinance want to go?
Ordinances, we've had some discussions and we, came up with 5 o'clock on the second Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, second Tuesday, so the 11th would be the first meeting at 5 o'clock. But going forward, second Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, we came up with, personnel insurance will be the 4th Monday. At 6 o'clock.
Did you say 5 or 6, Laura?
6.
Laura, ordinance?
Ordinance is 5.
5.
So we will be meeting on the 24th. So we'll start going back, talk about park.
Just so everybody knows, the second Tuesday, Historic District said that's when they meet at 7 PM. And Tourism meets the third Tuesday at 5 PM. So if anybody wanted to go and attend those, something to consider.
It's on, okay. So we're on long-range planning, just to keep this going along here. We've decided, and that's with myself and Latasha and Lucy, third Monday, and it's already on the calendar. I've sent that to Lisa. It's 6 p.m. and it will go 1 hour, 6 to 7 p.m. at City Hall. First meeting will be February 17th.
6 PM.
Yes.
Okay, facade committee, that would be Joe Davenport and Lucy Ricketts. And y'all gonna meet Monday, right?
Meet Monday morning.
That's just a meeting huh? Monday morning, Monday night?
9 a.m. Monday morning. That'd be
Where's that gonna be held at?
Out Main Street.
Main Street offices?
yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is it every Monday morning or a certain one?
Right now, we just know that.
Okay. Whether it makes any sense at a later date that we establish committee meetings on these particular dates, I would ask that the council go ahead and set tonight by a vote of you all that these are the regular scheduled meeting dates monthly for these meetings. Okay? If anybody.
By a vote of the committee or the entire council?
For the whole council, for all, we're adopting these committee meeting dates as the regular meetings to be held on these given nights in whatever week of the month it is. Okay?
Okay.
So who wants to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
If we do it by ordinance, if we do it by an order or something, we don't have to advertise it in the paper every time.
Well, you tell it,
If
Will.
we put it on a calendar, and the calendar's on the website, and it's called the regular monthly meeting. If they're regular meetings, they don't have to be advertised.
Yeah, but do we need to have a vote of the commission, the
Right.
council to do it?
Yeah, we need to do like a
Okay.
not just a vote, but a resolution. or-
Okay, so you're talking about next month?
No, right now.
Well, we don't have no resolution prepared.
Well, you make, somebody just makes it up.
Okay, okay. Jason, Taylor, go ahead and make up what Beach just said. By a resolution, we're gonna adopt these meeting schedule times.
I prefer not to vote on a resolution unless we actually have a written resolution to look at.
Okay.
Not to vote on anything verbal.
Yeah, I think we can write it
We
down
could
for
do
the
a
next.
motion and approval, I mean, but it doesn't need to be a resolution, does it?
Well, whatever.
I just-
say
I
make
just-
a motion
Just motion to approve?
And put it in the record. that-
Yeah,
that
all right,
we
well,
are
I'll make a
adopting-
motion to approve the ones that we've already discussed and decided, which would be Parks, 5 PM on the second Wednesday, Budget, 6 PM second Wednesday, Economic Development, 6 PM second Thursday, Ordinance Committee, second Tuesday at 5 PM, and Long Range Planning, third Monday at 6 PM.
Streets at 7 on the second Thursday.
Streets at 7 PM second Thursday.
Personnel, Monday, the fourth Monday of the month at 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Personnel
yeah, sure.
first.
Yeah,
It's gonna be on the website too.
I can't even.
Heather's typing it all as it is, and it's gonna be on the website, and everybody's gonna know when it is.
Got it.
Okay, you made a motion, Jason?
Yeah, so the motion, once again, is on the second Wednesday of the month, Parks Committee will meet at 5 PM. Budget Committee will meet at 6 PM. On the second Thursday, Economic Development will meet at 6 PM. Streets and Police will meet at 7 PM. Ordinance Committee will meet at 5 PM on the second Tuesday of the month. Long Range Planning, third Monday at 6 PM. Personnel will be the fourth Monday at 6 PM. So
Okay.
those will be the regular meetings unless we need to change them. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lucy Ricketts. Any further discussion on the motion made by Jason Kinzer?
Other than that, we need a list on all that, because you can't sit here and put all those dates down if you're not on the committee.
Well, it'd be in the minutes.
Really, so.
Yeah, Heather's putting them in the minutes right now, exactly how Jason just quoted
She's
it.
going to town over her fingers are going like
Yeah,
lightning.
she's already got them written
Send
down,
us
now
a-
she's putting it in the system.
Send us a list, Heather, if you would, please.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, no
Just-
further discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just comment. So, I mean, most of those meetings, or just about all of those meetings, will be at this location, I'm assuming. I was just talking with Laura a little bit that sometimes in the past, because the parks have other locations, that sometimes those meetings have been at those parks, so you can physically see conditions of them and do a walkthrough and stuff. So in the event that we do meet at another location, I'll definitely express in advance, where we might meet. But, I just wanted to say that out loud.
Same for economic.
Okay.
If we need to meet at Main Street or something like that,
Okay.
we'll advertise.
Yep.
Month out.
All right, any further discussion? Is that it? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Let it be known, saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Now, we're still in these reports. Sorry, fellas and ladies. Trey, you still need to get your report, correct?
I
Or you
could
have a report?
try to answer some questions or updates on some things. I know some questions about 309. So the front sidewalk has been poured going up to the front door, and then also the handicap accessible leading to the ramp. Both of those were poured. They both look good. Corey and his team did a great job on that. They backfilled with dirt and seed and straw. So that part is done. I also communicated with him, we need to work out sidewalk from the back steps, connecting that to our existing sidewalks somehow, some way. So I was planning on covering that in committee meeting as well, so we can give some input on that. I know they had another walkthrough with the county inspector. And they pointed out a couple of things that they would like to have changed a little bit. So it's a work in progress on that, but nearing completion on 309. And then like you had asked, and then Stephen had also brought up, just kind of talking about administrative type things. There are some things like within the restrooms, the paper towel holders, and just kind of finishing out the building, tables and chairs. Did go to the Tourism Commission. We had a good discussion there as far as wrapping up the agreement for their space. We talked about utilities.
Trey's a tough negotiator.
I think it was a good discussion. We talked about length of stay, all that kind of stuff. So just kind of wrapping that one up. I think those are the broad updates on 309. Any questions on that from anybody? All right, I will quickly give an update on Eagle Creek. So the lights, the permanent lights should be in the next couple of weeks. I did talk with Corey kind of late last week. He was going to follow up on that as well. We still have some work to do with KU, getting some of the lights that are existing there hot. Improvements on the fence. You've been out there recently. Some of the fence is not in the best shape, so just working on that and continuing to improve the front. We did have an advisory board meeting this past Wednesday, this past Wednesday. We did talk about improvements that are still ongoing, and then for the actual course, so continuing to work to improve that space as well. It is a park, so we're working on that. And then we've talked about some wayfinding signs there. I think that's it on Eagle Creek. I will skip to the basketball full court down there in phase 2. So we did talk about having some signage on, I'm just going to say rules and regulations, do's and don'ts down there, when it's open, when it closes in the evening. So just working on what do we want the rules to say and to put that on, and then when do we officially open it, or open it for use. And we are getting into the spring, or hopefully pretty soon. So just working on those details. And let's see, I think I know there's some other subjects we wanted to take up for this upcoming Parks Committee, senior dance, some other activities that we want to see throughout the rest of this upcoming year. And I think that's it.
I've got one thing, Trey.
Yeah.
I know a week or so ago, I had reached out to you about the pond in front of the clubhouse that obviously we own. There were some adults out there ice skating. I know it's not going to happen all the time, but they were skating and playing hockey. We got with Chief Collette. They went out there, told them to get off there. But regardless, I think we should get some signage to put up stating that, during the season of bad weather, however you want to state it, that no one's to be allowed on the pond. And also no swimming, just in case, just to cover our tracks.
Yes.
I think that would be good, just to have some signage around the pond.
We did, I don't want to say we skipped over it, but we did talk about it a little bit in the advisory board meeting about including some signage that is needed.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I haven't seen anybody swimming in it, but you never say never.
You never know.
So if we're going to put that up, we might as well just say that as well.
Probably something similar to, yeah. Well, you can fish there, but
they fish all the time, but ice skating and swimming, I wouldn't.
Probably something similar to what we have at Wilburn Lake, I would assume. So, but yeah, that's on the list. So.
Okay, is that it, Trey?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Joe, anything you want to bring the council to date up on your, not only, you have your meeting planned for next Wednesday at 6, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything else from budget and finance at this point? You're going to put your agenda together for what you're going to take up at that meeting, I take it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything else at this moment? Anything else? Anything else? Okay. Let's move to Jason Kinzer. Anything you would like to bring to the attention of the council tonight on economic development, Jason?
Yeah, not for economic development, but I'd like to make a motion that instead of doing these committee reports every single meeting, the committee chair have it put on the agenda if there's something that needs to be brought to the entire council.
Sounds fine with me. Anybody want to put that in a motion?
Anybody want to give me a second on that one?
Second motion made by Jason, second by Lucy. If there's nothing that's pertinent to any city council meeting and the chairman does not have anything to report, then they will not be listed on the agenda, correct?
Correct.
Have a motion, a second, any further discussion?
Well, some of the committees will have, regularly have things that will be coming up, and then some of them may very rarely. My only concern is if we're not hearing from the committee on a regular basis, we don't really know what's going on. That would be my only concern.
We have a motion, and a second. We're in discussion.
My thought is I'm going to bring it if there's something that needs
Wait,
to be.
let me ask this, if we could maybe potentially amend the motion to have the committee report information listed, and then have it listed whether they're going to have a full report or if they're just going to note when their next meeting is. Would that be sufficient?
That sounds reasonable. So that's a new motion. I'll second that.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Please, no, he took his back and Jason restated, so make sure it's in clarity, Heather, as the way you understand it. If you want to repeat it, Jason, please.
Sure, I'll try, I guess.
So everybody's aware that they might hear a committee report that night, or they may not.
Right, I think if there is an actual report that's going to be a substantive report, that it will be noted on there that there'll be a substantive report. And obviously, if there's anything that the council is going to, need to potentially be voted on, as we talked about last month, that would be dealt with in the following meeting. But if there's not going to be a report, then their names would still be listed on there, except it would just basically say, no written report, next meeting, such and such date, or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, schedule the next meeting.
But every chairperson of every committee has the opportunity and the ability to get something heading into the committee to be
Sure.
talked about.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be passing laws and regulations just to do busy work. If there's something that needs to be done, then it needs to be done. But I don't think every single thing needs to happen. Like, obviously, parks, there's ongoing stuff, but maybe you don't have a new ordinance that needs to be put out every single month.
The chairman of the committee will notify us in ample time in preparation of this packet as to whether you're going to have a report that night. If you're not, we're going to say no report, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, if somebody could just
All right.
make sure they reach out and notify
Yeah.
me.
I think I'm always going to have a report from parks. I mean, I'm just going to tell you that right now. Now, if there's something that I think needs to have a vote on, then and maybe that's where you're going with this. I'd like for that to show up there so you know in advance and can ask some questions if you weren't able to attend or anything like that.
The chairs could just reach out to me.
I think this addresses all that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, all right. Did we vote on it? Not yet. We have a motion, a second.
Is Ricketts, since it was rescinded, is she still the second?
Yeah, I rescinded my second up to his.
So I'll second Jason Taylor's
Okay, we
motion.
have a motion, a second. Everybody clear on the motion? If not, I guess you are. All those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. All right, where were we going on to economic development? Jason, that was your point right there, wasn't it?
Yes,
Nothing
next
else?
meeting will not be next month. It'll be month after next on the second Thursday at 6 p.m. right here. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Okay. Streets and Public Safety, Kenny Powell.
I don't have anything currently. I've had, Magistrate Woosley had reached out to me regarding the 3rd Avenue and 4th Street that I'm going to actually get with Corey and Chief Collette about. We've had some residents that had actually talked about making that one-way due to the street being narrow right there and traffic coming in and out. So those are just, that's one thing that we're going to look at, and then obviously I'm going to take a look at what Laura had mentioned about the kiosk, excuse me. So those are a couple things that we will definitely be talking about. We are going to have a meeting. I'm going to reach out to Corey and Chief Collette for February, if they're available, to come to that. So we'll set that for the 13th of February.
Okay, thank you, Kenny.
Yep.
Personnel insurance, Lucy. No, I'm sorry, Laura Taylor. I know, ordinance, I'm sorry. Well, you,
We are going to meet on February 11th, which will be the second Tuesday. I'm going at 5 o'clock. We are going to be discussing the sign ordinance. And we also need to bring back up the entertainment district, kind of revisit where we are with that.
okay,
So if
all right,
anybody else has anything that they would like to discuss also, just let me know.
okay. All right, any questions for Laura from anyone? If not, we'll keep moving. Personnel and insurance, Lucy Ricketts.
Yes, we will be meeting on the 24th at 6 o'clock. Really, my goal is to try to bring every head of the departments in and go over if there's any concerns with personnel first and do that, and then we'll have to start looking at insurance, I'm sure. But I know the first one's going to be just here at City Hall.
And you're inviting to that meeting the directors of each department? Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, now that meeting should probably just be, I guess, the city clerk. Would that be, who handles the personnel within this?
Katie.
Katie, that'd be Katie.
Katie.
That'd be Katie.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
be inviting Katie to that
Okay.
meeting.
And you all, remember, you all have to take your own notes and keep notes in your committee meetings and keep a regular notes ongoing of your committee discussions, okay? Because that stuff is retrievable in the open records.
Okay.
As to if you're dealing with something in there, so make sure you keep decent minutes, okay? Please. Okay, long-range planning, Jason Taylor. You got anything to bring at this time?
No, just what I said earlier. We'll start the meetings on February 17th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall, and it'll be the 3rd Monday going forward. And I'll get do I need to get an agenda to Heather? Is that what
Yes,
we
sir.
need to do? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
I'll do that a few days ahead of
Please.
time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and facade, we've already heard they're going to meet at 9 a.m. This coming Monday at the Main Street offices, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Anything from them? If not, we'll keep moving. Okay, we have another public comment. Is any here, if anyone's come in late to want to speak in public comment again? No? Okay, item 14. Not sure if y'all know who Wayne Morgan is, but he lives down here on Jefferson Street in the condos or the patio homes on the left-hand side. Wayne has previously served on our Board of Adjustments. His term is up, and I'd like to reappoint Wayne. He's retired, lives there, can make the meetings if there are any to be had. So anybody willing to make a motion for Wayne's reappointment?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Jason Kinzer. Would there be a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lucy Ricketts. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know and say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Item 15, I've talked to Sue Ann Jones. She said if I had anybody better than her to sit on the commission, please go for it. And I said, no, you're fine, Sue Ann. You've done a good job. You've been there.
She's
And-
great.
and
Motion.
I'd be willing to appoint you again for another 4 years.
Very
So-
level-headed and,
so,
yeah, motion.
So we have a motion by Jason
second it.
Kinzer, second by Lucy, was it Latasha? Latasha, sorry, Latasha. So we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion on this reappointment? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know, say an aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, item 16, this is council members' open discussion. I sort of elaborated on this a little bit different. I think it used to say new business, but what I want to do here, everyone, is give any one of you all the opportunity to bring anything you might want to bring up that I might want to assign to a specific committee for future discussion that will eventually be brought back to the full city council for consideration. And this is your opportunity. If you have anything in more depth you'd like to speak about right now, you're welcome to bring it to the table. If you're not, we'll go on to our next item.
Hey, Mayor, you saying this is the new business section now? Basically,
Yes, sir.
it's
Yes, sir.
replacing
Yes, sir.
that?
Uh-huh.
I just had I guess, an area I wanted to see if you could just clarify for the council. You had mentioned that when Ms. Manley Calloway was up there, that you didn't really want any city council member on the Historic District Commission, and even though she thought that might be a good idea. But in August of '24, Bill Lamline was appointed to that. He's been on that commission many times as a city council member, so I wanted to see, kind of get your thoughts on that, and if you could clarify why that position has changed.
When was Bill put on there, Jason?
August 5th, 2024.
August?
I think he's been on there for years.
Yeah, but the last appointment was 7-0.
I tell you what, I'm not saying it's a conflict, but I think, I'm not sure where appeals to the Historic District Commission go to. They may come back to the city council.
Board of Adjustments.
As a board, okay, Board of Adjustments, all right, on an appeal. I just didn't want the city council hearing an appeal and a board member being on there. Jason Taylor, if somebody on this board here wants to sit on the Historic District Commission and the law is permissible to do it, I would be more than glad to do it.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, thank you.
I hope the law is permissible, because if not, then we broke it when Bill Lamline was sitting on both.
Well, yeah, but you're sitting on the Tourism Commission, Jason, so,
Right.
There's no difference.
And I recuse myself if there's
Commission's
something
commission.
that's
Commission is a commission. Well,
both.
then maybe Bill Lamline recuses himself.
Yeah, yeah,
So are you going to stay on the Tourism Commission?
absolutely.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jason Taylor or Kenneth Powell to the Historic District Commission.
We can't appoint both of them in one motion.
Well,
Which one?
I'd like to nominate both of them.
Which one you want to go with first?
The attorney.
Yeah, Mayor, I was a little concerned with the, how can I put this? Not really following set law and order on the rules and regulations there, and I'm not saying anybody does that, but it leads to favoritism in that. For example, she was saying replacing something, the exact replacement. Well, that kind of depends on a case by case, and okay, well, what if somebody misses 2 meetings? Well, that kind of depends on a case by case, and that, to me, that leads to a lot of problems, a lot of issues. Like I said, favoritism, people filing lawsuits because someone was treated differently than someone else. I have some real concerns about that, and yeah, maybe having someone with who's passed the bar on there might be helpful.
I was not asking for myself to be appointed. That was not my point whatsoever.
I know, but
I think Kenneth would be great.
I think Jason would be better.
I don't know, you all. I don't know if it's good policy, honestly, loading up all these commissions with council members. If you all want to be on every commission in the city, I guess that's what you may want to be, but.
Well, you got people who want to serve the city.
I think we've got a legislative ability to create the laws, the ordinances, and these volunteer boards will typically volunteer their time. We hope they're qualified, and I don't know that the city council needs to start trying to control every city commission by putting our own members on there. I mean, if we're going to do that, let's just do away with all the commissions and we control everything.
Well, I want to speak on Bill's behalf because he does know his history, and he is an architect.
No, he's not. He does not have a college degree. He is not an architect.
Well, he's done a lot of drawings that I've known of.
Yes, with no college degree in it, which is required to be an architect.
I think, well, I'm not going to get into Bill's
Yeah.
qualifications.
Well,
I
he
do-
knows,
I
he
do
knows a
know- I
lot
do
more
know-
than just a layperson would know.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I really
Agreed.
feel that his sense of history and what he has done with the History Center, he was involved in a lot of that reconstructing of the Oldham County History Center, both buildings, and has always served this city that way, that his knowledge is invaluable. And I frankly like the fact that he's on that.
I don't think anybody's saying take him off.
I think that,
There's open spots.
all I was pointing out was he had been on there, and then today there was a different opinion, and so I just wanted some clarification. But if you do look at the actual Historic District Commission guidelines, it does say as one of the members on there, a city council member. So I just wanted to understand if there was a differing opinion than it has been in the past, what
So
the
it's a
basis,
guideline.
what the basis of that was. That's all.
So it's a guideline that there should be a city council member on there.
I don't remember it being on there as a city council member myself. You might pull it up and see if it is, but I don't believe there's a recommendation city council.
156.03.
All right. Mr. City Attorney?
Yep.
Ruling on that, 156.03?
If we need a council member on it, I'll
How-
volunteer to do it.
156.03, do you have a copy of it right there in front of you? What's it say?
Yeah, section 7, I'm sorry, section B7. The member shall be selected if possible from the following organizations or professions.
Possible? Okay.
Correct. And shall be appointed by the mayor and approved by city council members. Licensed real estate agent, architect, member of the Chamber of Commerce, member of the Oldham County Historical Society, member representing the areas designated in the National Historic Places, member representing the downtown business district of the city, a city council member, and an attorney with interest and experience in preservation law.
So would that be, I'm just asking the question, would that be similar to how Joe represents the water and sewer department? I'm just asking.
Yeah, but I think we made that was non-voting. I don't know, didn't we make that non-voting?
Yeah.
So they want to be there so they'll know what's going on, so they can report back what's going on here, since not everybody comes to all the utility commission meetings. So the fact that we mentioned in there that it's okay to have council members on the historic commission, council, I mean, that's fine.
Jason Taylor checks 2 of those boxes, attorney and city council member.
Does Heather, does that have the same as what the quorum is? Doesn't it say quorum is 3?
Latasha volunteered, so if that's
Yeah,
in the form of a motion, I'll second that.
I motion to volunteer for the Historical Commission.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Latasha nominated herself by motion.
It's up to the mayor to appoint, but I like that. I think we need some new blood on there, Mayor. I'd like to see a little bit more clarification
So
and
someone nominates
preciseness.
Latasha.
I nominate Latasha.
Okay, motion
For the
to
historic.
nominate Latasha has been
I'll second.
made. Is there a second by Trey Kamer? Is there any discussion on that motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion of putting Latasha on the Historic District Commission, let it be known saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Good, okay. I don't know who first and seconded. I can't remember.
Kenneth and I seconded.
Trey made motion, Kenny Powell seconded.
Vice versa.
Okay.
Close
Vice versa?
Yes, vice versa.
All right, any other thing in this particular category of item 16?
Mayor, I would like for the directors, as we saw with Katie not being here with the bus thing, I know you're concerned about the length of the meetings, but I would really like for the directors to be present. Maybe we don't have to call them, but I'd certainly like for them to be present for once a month for the council meeting, so that if there is something like the bus thing last time, or this time, another bus incident with the train crossing, something like that, so that they're here and council can address those problems when our constituents are have concerns and things like that. And I was curious the other council members' thoughts on that. Kenneth, what's your thoughts?
I think it's important if they're available for questions. I don't see a problem with directors being available if there was a question to be brought up like the bus incident.
Laura, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a problem, however, we're also asking them to spend a long evening with the city council when they may or may not have something that they need to contribute. So that would be my only concern, is respect for their time.
And plus, all of them that sit here are taking time off at a later date, okay, during the day or whatever. They're salaried people, but they count this as spending time here, so if they say, I'm cutting out Wednesday afternoon, Mayor, because I got my 4 hours in Monday night, then that's what they do. And they have the ability to do that.
Well, that's why I want to know what the other council members thought. I think it's important.
I think it's asking too much for them.
With Katie not being here, if she hadn't been here tonight either, we'd be pushing multiple things months down the road.
I personally, I'm not going to ask them to be here every meeting, but if you all want to make a motion to require them to be here, then it's up to you, but I'm going to be asking where they are during the week, and say, I took off Wednesday afternoon, Mayor.
So this time counts towards their time? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they'll take it in time off.
Okay. I didn't know that. I would say that would take away from them in the field, where they would probably be needed, more so than if there was a question, we could address that prior or after the meeting to follow up the following month.
Either that, or you can get a hold of them every day and call them on the phone and talk to them about it.
Right.
I mean, I have questions for Corey. He wasn't here, so I'm gonna call him tomorrow and just go over a couple things. So I think it's nice if they're here, but if they're not, I could follow up, on my own time.
I would agree with that. However, I didn't know that this time counted towards their time, so I'd rather have them in the field.
They can ask for, we don't have comp time, but on salary employees, they're supposed to get the job done, okay,
Sure.
within their pay, okay? They're supposed to get the job done, but if they sit here for 3.5, 4 hours some night, I promise you, they consider that in their brain that I'm going to take some time off, Mayor, when I need it, and I'm not going to say nothing about it.
Fair enough.
And that is one of the things that the Personnel Committee can discuss too, about comp time.
Well, we don't have
There's
comp
been some
time. We don't have comp, we're not going to have comp time.
Okay, so what do you call that if they've?
Well, hourly people get time and a half. Salaried people get the job done.
Okay.
What if they
But
just
also,
write?
if they sit here and we can require them to sit here, I promise you, they're going to deserve and feel like they worked 17 hours today, so when am I going to get my other 4 off?
Right.
Well, when I work salary, it's, like you said, you get the job done. If a job requires coming once a month to a city council meeting, if not, you're taking a bunch of power away from the city council, and I think that's, I don't know how the constituents would feel about that, but it certainly centralizes the power a lot more.
I would say if I've got since I'm over the streets and public safety, if Chief Collette isn't available to be here till 7 o'clock, I'll probably call him the following day.
You have no power as a single council member, though, as we just learned in KLC.
Right, but I can bring that to the next meeting, correct?
Yeah.
And if it's that, I think if it's that urgent, then
And y'all
It
can,
would be
you all
addressed.
can talk to city directors or city personnel all day long. You just gotta watch talking between yourselves,
Okay.
you know? I mean, you can talk to chief, you can go to lunch with him if you want to and talk to him for 3 hours. You know, about what's going on, and this, that, and other, so.
He was just telling me he wants to close the Main Street down 3 or 4 more times.
Okay, any more discussion on that at this time? Okay. You want to move into old business? Anybody have any old business?
Yeah, it's old business from a long time ago. I'm assuming there'll probably be a quorum at your streets committee, so I won't be able to speak. But there's been an ask several times in the past to change 3rd Street into one-way. I would ask that you do not change it to one-way if there's any way possible. I realize it's tight. I don't know if there's any way to, there's been no good solution, I'll say. I don't really think we can widen it a whole lot more than what it is because there's graves on one side and residents on the other. So I'd appreciate if you consider other options, just because then you're forcing all the traffic to go down 4th Street, and it's already a busy street.
Well, that's, like I said, I don't have any solutions. That's why I'm going to talk to Corey and to the chief, because I want to know if there is anything that we can at least let them know that we looked into it.
Absolutely.
Whether it would be, I did drive that way on the way here just to see, because it's not a street that I go down every day. But there is an area that you can maybe possibly make a small pull-off.
It could be better.
I did, there was an Amazon truck that I met coming down today. He had to pull off. I understand what they're saying. I feel that it's my job to at least ask and get back to him. So we'll figure it out, right or wrong. It's not going to be overnight, but I wanted to at least address it, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put a stop sign up there.
Yeah. Oh, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, anybody have any announcements they'd like to have on public view about anything you want to announce to your constituents?
I will say, so baseball season is, signups have occurred. There is approximately, I think he said about 600 or 650 kids that have signed up to play at Walsh Park. They still are accepting signups. You can sign up online at this point. There's a little bit of a late fee for late signups at this point in time, but just wanted to share that there's been a good turnout for that. You know, that a lot of people complain that there's nothing for kids to do in this community, but I mean, almost 700 kids are going to participate in a several month-long activity. So a lot of times I argue there are things for kids to do, and so that's one of them. So late signups are still available for spring baseball.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, anyone else on announcement?
Mayor, we don't talk about farmers market too much, but I am on the board of the farmers market. We met 4 hours Saturday morning for a kickoff, and got rules and regulations changed to send out to the applicants to sign and turn in, and we gave them a deadline to get them in, and so just let you know that, you know, I mean, it does bring a lot of people in, farmers market, especially since we got the pavilion. So anyway, we met from 9 to 1 Saturday morning, and we'll be having another meeting when the applications come in. There's a lot of guidelines set to it. There can be only like 20% of artisans, and you know how they got it set to where you can have, you know, there's a lot of rules and regulations with it. They have to do that. So anyway, just let everybody know that.
When's the date when it's going to officially open?
Till I don't know if they set a date yet or not. It's usually, starts in May, didn't it? May through October?
I
Yeah.
just didn't know if there was like, oh, it's, you know.
No, it.
Joe, you're on the board of the farmer's market? You're on the board at the farmer's market?
Yes.
Okay. We
Yes.
just had a big discussion about council members being on board, so. That's another example of where that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mayor, I just want to clarify going forward. So we're not having any more directors' reports unless somebody calls them. So Chief and Stephanie and Donna Sabo and the rest of them don't need to show up unless we call them. Is that what we decided?
I'm saying this, if the council wants to, say that every director that I have, that we have as a council, on staff, every director, if you want all 7 of them here, every night from beginning of the council meeting to the end, I'm okay with it. I'm just telling you that in the week's time, they're gonna come to me and say, Mayor, I'm gonna skip out for 4 hours this afternoon, because I sat through a council meeting 4 hours Monday night.
Okay.
So if you want that policy, I'm okay with it. I don't care. It's just.
Chief's taking the morning off tomorrow.
It's just, you know, I mean, some may do that, some may not do that. They say, hey, I'm good with work sitting there. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna hit you up for 4 hours, but they've got the ability to walk out 4 hours.
All right.
So that's just the way it is.
So none of the directors need to show up unless we call them to the carpet, so to speak.
I enjoy hearing what's going on in the city.
Well, we gotta decide one or the other.
That's the only way that sometimes we really find out what's going on.
I agree, but
is
I'm
to
not
hear
saying that's
from
all
them.
right.
Well, I honestly think we don't need to be asking them the extensive questions sometimes that they are asked. If I have a question, I usually just go to them and ask them.
If you want to get them in
Rather
here,
than
if you want to get them in here at 6:35 and we have director's report first thing, we can go that route.
I was just gonna
Then-
suggest
That
if
would
it's,
be the
Then they
best
can
thing
leave
to
by
do.
7 o'clock.
That would be.
Okay?
I'd be fine with that.
You know, we can just, we'll move them before all business, but,
And I don't even know if they need to stand up.
But-
Just, my
but-
preference would be to be
I'll
here,
tell you,
so if we
I'll
do
tell
have a
you
question.
what they're gonna do, and I'm not against the director, but at 4:30 quitting time, they're gonna stay at City Hall till 6:30, so it's 2 hours there. They're not going home. They're gonna stay here till 6:30, and then they're gonna come in here and report, and that's the way it's gonna be.
That's how the community finds out about things, if they're watching this.
That's fine.
That's how
I
we
mean,
find out. But I don't-
Oldham County Fiscal Court, they don't have every director show up fiscal court every Tuesday. They just don't do it.
Okay. Well,
Well, maybe it's something we
They,
need to put on the city
they
page
only,
and ask the
they
voters
only
what they
show up
think.
at fiscal court if the judge or a magistrate wants them there to speak about something specifically.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're not required to come to every fiscal court meeting and sit there for 4 hours.
I think if we've got employees that are gonna not care about the job and not showing up, and they're only in it for the paycheck, then maybe we need some different directors.
I'm not saying we need
I
different
don't think
directors.
we have any of those people here, but if we do, then maybe we need some different directors.
I would like to note that we used to always have the directors every meeting. And in the interest of time, one of the ideas was to have them on a rotating basis. So it's not like we're not.
That's the reason I had 3 tonight.
Right.
Because
So
I
it's not
heard
like
that
we're
from,
not gonna keep
I
them.
think I heard that prior to this council being seated. I think maybe you and me and Jason talked about that, rotating. And that's why I had 3 here tonight, and Stephanie said today, some to the front, you're not gonna let me speak tonight, are you? Because I'm not on the list. I said, we're gonna try to bring you in periodically.
Right.
And she understood that.
So it kind of will work out to about every other month that we're hearing from them, right? Roughly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
For me.
Well,
I
we
think
need to
that's-
decide on that, or yes or no, every other month or no, or is it kind of, whoever wants to show up does or doesn't. I would like to have a little bit more clarity on that.
I think asking them, I think the mayor, I know the mayor's right, asking them to come to every meeting. And every 2 months would be fine.
I'm trying to be a team player, but the mayor does set the agenda,
Right,
okay?
right. I agree.
But, once again, if this council, by vote of this council, wants every director here to begin the meeting, we get director's report, then they're excused, I can go that route. I can go any route you want to. I'm not being difficult. I'm just telling you what the true situation is with them.
Okay. I think every other month is fine, but I'd like for it to be every other month.
Okay,
We can rotate through the directors, half of them this month, half of them next month. I'd be fine with that.
But
If
I
they don't want
think-
to show up till
I
6:30,
think
I'm
even
fine
on
with that
the-
too.
I think even on a rotation, if Stephanie Winther wasn't scheduled to be here next month, but I felt she needed to be here to bring a light to you all on something, believe me, I would have her here.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable, that you're aware of something that's going on in a particular area, to have that director come, but try to have them every other
Or
month.
if you all call me and say, hey, Mayor, I'd like to have Stephanie Winther here next meeting because I want to talk to her about her job performance. You know, I would have her here. You know, you're all the bosses. I'm just here.
I'm good with that. If we set it where it's, the director split it, so it's every other month. But I really would like for them to be here every other month, not once every 6 months whenever they feel like it. I'd like to see them, and for the examples that I illustrated, I've only been to 2 meetings.
Stephanie.
Both meetings, Katie Bechtold, where there were some serious issues that we needed to discuss. And I'm glad she was here to go over them. I mean, one of them, the constituents are posting that on Oldham County Grapevine. It's a serious issue that we needed to discuss.
Well,
they're concerned about it. They're putting it out there on public social media and that. It's something that is important to them, and therefore it's important to me.
Stephanie Winther, she enjoys being here. She likes to listen to all the discussion of the council. She'd rather be here than home with her. I'm not going to say nothing like that, but Stephanie Winther enjoys being here. The rest of them,
Chiefs game, right?
probably have something to do at home, like do the washing, the ironing, or something. But so they don't have all night to sit here. But Stephanie loves it.
So are we in agreement that it's every other month?
Yeah.
Each of the department heads will be here every other month?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that sounds great to me.
And we're going to, and on those months that we're here, we're going to get them on the agenda about 6:35.
That sounds great. That sounds great. That seems like a good,
We're going to have director's report before we even do finance. We
fair
say,
agreement.
any directors here that's supposed to be here tonight, you're up.
What if we have a finance?
All right, what's the next item on the agenda? I've already put mine away.
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second. All those in favor of the motion, let me know I'm saying aye.
Aye. Jason made the motion. Who was the second?
I second it.
Trey?
Yep. Thanks.
Can we do it again?
There's 2 of us now.
Now?
Can we do it again? Start over. I'm going to say the pledge.
Pledge it. Huh?
I'm on a fast. I need something really.
Or are they gonna start in April this year? April through October this year.
Do you know, like, early April or late April, or?
I think it's around April the 9th, I believe it was.
Okay.
You going, yeah, it's.
Is it online?
Yeah, LaGrange
online?
Farmers,
Okay.
LaGrange Farmers Market.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like April the 9th, I believe, when I looked at it.
I'm
I'm just looking forward to spring and getting out there and seeing what we have.
Be safe on your trip. Huh? Be safe on your trip.
I'll do it. Yeah. All right. I'll see you. My computer went dead.
First year I was here, I just worked with Candy Page as well.